One Piece is a really long manga. I mean really long. Currently, we have 1,054 chapters on the docket. And if you want to get caught up to it, it's no simple matter. It takes a lot of time and a lot of investment. So that's the point of this video series, guys. I want to get you caught up on the One Piece story. As of July 2021, One Piece has over 490 million copies in circulation in 58 countries worldwide, making it the best-selling manga series in history. Now in this video, we're going to cover the first 5 sagas of One Piece, that being the East Blue Saga, the Alabasta Saga, which I call the Alabasta Saga, the Sky Island Saga, the Water 7 Saga, and finally, the Thriller Bark Saga. Now the East Blue Saga covers the first 100 chapters of the manga, and the first 54 episodes of the anime. Moving on, we got the Alabasta Saga, which covers chapters 101 to 217, so a total of 117 chapters, and in the anime, it's episodes 62 to 135, so a total of 74 episodes. Sky Island is the third saga, and that's going to be chapters 218 to 302, so a total of 85 chapters, and that's going to be episodes 144 to 195, a total of 52 episodes. Water 7 is going to be the fourth saga that we cover. That's going to be manga chapters 303 to 441, so a total of 139 chapters. It's going to be the longest saga that we talk about in this video, and it's going to be a total of 110 anime episodes. And then finally, we got the shortest saga of the bunch, the Thriller Bark Saga. That's going to be manga chapters 442 to 489, a total of 48 chapters. And if you're watching the anime, it's going to be episodes 337 to 381, a total of 45 episodes. Now, before we start this video, guys, if you're looking for some fire anime merch like One Piece, Berserk, and many others, you can go to the website in the link below. And if you're looking for a nice little discount, I got a discount code in the description for 10% off. So if you're looking for some fire anime merch, go to the website, and then after that, we're going to start the long journey of going through the first 5 sagas of One Piece. Wealth, fame, power. Once there was a man who took everything in this world. Pirate King Goldie Roger. The words he left on the verge of death drove people throughout the world to the sea. My treasure! If you want it, you can have it. Search for it. I left everything in the world there. Thus, the world ushered in the Great Pirate Age. Here's a small seaport. About 1 year ago, a pirate ship landed there. The East Wind, a small peaceful village. A small boy, Monkey D. Luffy, wants to prove that he's brave enough to be a pirate, so he stabs himself in the face. The pirates go to the bar for a drink, as the red-haired Shanks tells Luffy not to do anything so stupid again. He tells Luffy he can't handle being a pirate. A smoking man tells Luffy that he should try to understand Shanks' feelings about the matter, since a pirate's life is hard and very dangerous. Makino walks in and offers to give Luffy something to eat. Higuma, leader of the bandits, then bursts into the tavern and requests 10 barrels of sake. Shanks' crew drank all the sake, so Higuma smashes the bottle and gets Shanks soaking wet. As it turns out, Higuma has an 8 million berry bounty on his head and has killed 56 people. He then slashes the table with his sword to give Shanks a scare. After Higuma leaves, Shanks laughs off the matter. Luffy, however, is pissed that he didn't fight back and calls the incident disgraceful. Luffy begins to storm off, but Shanks grabs his arm. It then starts to stretch across the room. It turns out that Luffy ate the devil fruit called the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which gave him the ability to stretch. Because of this, he won't be able to swim anymore. Sometime later, Higuma returns to the tavern looking for some sake. Higuma's crew abducts Luffy and begins to stretch him out for fun. Luffy attempts to fight back, but is easily taken down in the process. The village chief offers to pay the pirates so that they don't harm Luffy any further. Shanks then intervenes by having one of his pirate crew shooting one of the enemies. I don't care what the reasons you have. I won't forgive anyone who messes with my friends. Shanks' crew makes quick work of the Higuma pirates. Panicked, Higuma uses a smoke bomb to take Luffy and escape. Higuma takes Luffy onto an escape boat and kicks him into the sea. Just then, a Sea King chomps down on Higuma and looks to do the same to Luffy. Shanks pulls the boy out of the way and tells the Sea King to get lost. Luffy begins crying as he notices that Shanks' left arm has gone missing. The reason Shanks didn't take Luffy with him is that the sea is an unpredictable place. It's not something that humans can control, but Luffy understands how great Shanks really is, and he hopes to be just like him in the future. Luffy wants to become a pirate himself, but Shanks says he doesn't have what it takes. Angered, Luffy says he'll become the king of the pirates one day. Shanks then gives him the straw hat on his head as a gift. "When you become a great pirate in the future, return that hat to me," says Shanks. 10 years have now passed, and we see an older Luffy punching a Sea King with his Gomu Gomu no pistol. Luffy wants to find 10 people to fill out his pirate crew. "Alright, let's go. I'll become the king of the pirates." Without any friends, he sets sail on a little boat. A long journey has begun. Luffy then ends up on an island where the Iron Mace Alvida is using it as her base. There, he meets a cabin boy by the name of Kobe. Luffy tells him he's after Roger's lost treasure, the One Piece. Lady Alvida bursts in, but Luffy insults her. "Gum Gum Pistol! Give Kobe a dinghy! He's gonna join the Navy!" The two then leave the island with their new boat. Luffy and Kobe arrive at a naval base. Luffy looks inside a naval prison and sees Zoro, the demonic beast, tied up to a pole. Helmeppo destroys Rika's rice balls and tosses her over the wall. Later on, Helmeppo claims that Zoro will be put to death in 3 days. Luffy punches him and claims he'll ask Zoro to join his crew. Luffy then asks Zoro to join his crew again, but he refuses. Zoro states that if Luffy can retrieve his swords, then he'll join his crew. Luffy then destroys the statue of Axe Hand Morgan by accident as he tries to escape with Helmeppo. Morgan's soldiers look to kill Zoro and Kobe as Luffy looks for the swords. Zoro then remembers the promise he made to Kuina, in which they would fight each other to be the greatest swordsman ever. Unfortunately, she died shortly afterwards. In the now, Luffy jumps in to block the bullets from killing Zoro and Kobe. "What are you? I'm the guy who's gonna be the king of the pirates." "You've got yourself a pirate?" replies Zoro. After releasing Zoro, Luffy kicks a bunch of pirates with his rubber leg. Captain Morgan and Luffy then engage each other in a battle. Helmeppo points a gun at Kobe and tells Luffy to stop. Despite this, Zoro takes down Captain Morgan. Morgan's Marines are happy that Captain Morgan's reign of terror is over. Luffy and Kobe decide to go their separate ways, as the latter joins the Navy. The Navy sees Luffy and Zoro off, as the two pirates make their way to the Grand Line. The two pirates soon get hungry, so Luffy attempts to catch a bird, but ends up getting flown away. Some of the Buggy the Clown pirates hop aboard Zoro's boat. Luffy then falls onto an island in front of some pirates. Luffy takes out the pirates as a girl introduces herself. "The name's Nami. I specialize in robbing pirates. Want to team up with me?" Luffy, however, is not interested in teaming up with her. Pirate Captain Buggy the Clown isn't pleased that they lost the map and shoots one of the pirates with a cannon. Nami says she stole a map of the Grand Line and she wants to buy a certain village. Luffy then asks her to join his crew, but she refuses. Nami then tricks Luffy and ties him up with a rope and takes him to Buggy. Zoro then arrives in the village looking for Luffy. Nami's plan then goes horribly wrong when Buggy orders her to kill Luffy with a Buggy cannon. "You pirates took someone dear to me. I'll never become what I hate." The fuse is then lit as Nami fights off the horde of pirates. Zoro then arrives by taking out several pirates. He then proceeds to chop Buggy into little pieces. Buggy's severed arm then attacks Zoro. The chop chop fruit. Zoro then grabs the cage Luffy is in and runs away with him. "Clearly we're not dealing with common thieves. I consider this a declaration of war," says Buggy. Nami comes back with the key for Luffy's cage, but a random dog gulps it down. Buggy's vice captain, Moji, then arrives atop a giant lion. Richie, the lion, attacks a cage, freeing Luffy in the process. Luffy defeats Richie with Gum Gum Gavel, and then proceeds to feed the dog that ate the key, surprising Nami. Moji returns to Buggy, but collapses to the ground from exhaustion. The mayor of the town tells Luffy that he's going to fight to protect his village. "Fire the Buggy Ball!" Zoro survives the blast, as Nami reluctantly decides to join forces with Luffy. Despite his vigor, the mayor is no match for Buggy. "I've kept my promise. I've come to beat you," says Luffy. He then knocks the mayor unconscious so that he won't get in the way. A Buggy Ball comes towards Luffy, but he turns into a balloon and bounces it right back. Buggy and Kabaji emerge from the wreckage unharmed, since they use their crewmates as a shield. Luffy knocks Moji unconscious with a kick to the head. Kabaji and Zoro then engage each other in battle. Kabaji has the advantage, but Zoro eventually turns the tables on him. Zoro then cuts himself, suggesting that his level is far superior to Kabaji's. Nami tells Luffy that Buggy's got the Grand Line map. Luffy stomps on Buggy's hand, so he won't interfere with Zoro's fight. Zoro then finishes off Kabaji with his Onigiri attack. Luffy and Buggy then prepare for their final battle. Seeing your straw hat reminds me of a guy I knew a long time ago. That impudent red-haired guy, says Buggy, referring to Shanks. Buggy has no intentions of telling Luffy about Shanks. The battle commences, with the two looking evenly matched. Luffy then becomes enraged when Buggy messes up his hat. Buggy then specifically targets the hat that Luffy treasures. Buggy then claims that him and Shanks were comrades at one point. Don't compare yourself with him, screams Luffy. The villagers outside town then decide to protect their chief from danger. Buggy then has a flashback of Shanks and how they had differing opinions. Buggy then ate a devil fruit and fell into the water. And because those who eat devil fruits can't swim, Buggy blames Shanks for the incident. In the now, Buggy notices that Nami stole his treasure, so he lunges at her with killer's intent. Luffy then kicks his lower body in the balls. Buggy separates his body into a dozen pieces. Give me back my treasure! Luffy proceeds to tickle Buggy's feet, but the clown still manages to grab onto the treasure. Luffy kicks him in the face. As Buggy's body begins to reassemble, he then notices that Nami tied up some of his body parts with a rope. Gomu Gomu Bazooka, says Luffy. Luffy and his crew look to make tracks, but the villagers wonder what happened to the chief. Luffy admits to knocking him out. The three escape the angry villagers as the dog helps them escape. The village chief wakes up and thanks the three pirates as they sail away. The three then arrive on an island with hybrid animals. The island's guardian warns them about the forced judgment. They then meet Gaimon, a strange man who's been trapped in a chest for 20 years. Gaimon talks about the horrors of the Grand Line. Luffy then offers to help Gaimon attain the treasure on the island, but it turns out that the chests are already empty. Luffy invites Gaimon to join their crew, but he refuses. Luffy and his crew then leave the island. Nami suggests they need a better ship for the Grand Line. Usopp then warns everyone in his village that pirates are attacking. Turns out he was just kidding as a prank. Luffy and his crew arrive on the island as Usopp spies on them with some village kids. The four then go to a village restaurant as Usopp talks about a bedridden girl who owns a mansion. The Usopp pirates then tell Luffy that Usopp is visiting the mansion with the bedridden girl, Kaya. Turns out he tells her stories to help brighten her spirits. Luffy and the others arrive at the mansion, but the butler calls Usopp a filthy pirate. Shut up, yells Usopp. I'm proud that my dad was a pirate. Kaya urges Usopp to avoid violence as the butler calls him a savage. Later on, a strange hypnotist, Django, puts the village boys and himself to sleep. Luffy tells Usopp that he knew his dad, Yasopp, since he was on Shanks' ship. The two then hear the butler and Django discussing a plan to assassinate Kaya. Turns out, the butler used to be Captain Kuro of the Black Cat Pirates. Luffy then warns the two not to touch Kaya. Django uses his hypnotism to make Luffy fall off of the cliff. The butler states that Usopp is a well-known liar, and no one will believe him, so they leave him be. Usopp proceeds to warn everyone about the pirates, but no one believes him due to the constant lying. Kuro then returns to the Black Cat pirate ship, stating they'll all be rich for the rest of their lives, and they'll destroy the village. Kaya bought a special anniversary present for the butler. Usopp is then chased out of the village. He then tells Kaya that the butler is actually a pirate, but she doesn't believe him. Usopp fights off the guards and begs for Kaya to believe him. Kaya slaps him, forcing him to run off as the villagers chase him down. To defend Usopp's reputation, Luffy and his crew want to intervene on his behalf. Inside the mansion, Kuro smashes his anniversary gift and reveals that he's in fact a pirate. The Black Cat pirates make landfall as Luffy's crew realizes they guessed the wrong side of the island that they would dock on. Nami then makes Zoro slide down the oil trap that they set. Sorry, but my treasure is in danger! Usopp engages with the Black Cat pirates as Luffy gets lost on the island. Usopp warns the Black Cats that he's got 100 million crewmen waiting to kill them. Nami whacks Usopp and declares that the treasure on board belongs to her. The two then prepare to fight off the pirates. Usopp is then whacked on the head with a crude hammer. Nami is knocked down too, but then Luffy and Zoro come in to save the day. Usopp, you idiot! You didn't tell me which way was north! Kuro wonders where the Black Cats are and says that he'll kill them if they forget his plans. Django then hypnotizes the pirates to become stronger. Luffy also gets hypnotized and receives a boost in energy. Gatling gun! Luffy rips off the bow of the ship, but Django puts him to sleep. Kaya finds Mary unconscious on the ground and finds out that Kuru is indeed a pirate. Meanwhile, Django calls upon the Nyaban brothers, Sham and Bucci. Zoro blocks Sham's attack with his sword. After stealing Zoro's swords, Sham tosses them aside. Zoro slices Sham and rushes towards his swords. Sham then jumps on Zoro's back as Bucci performs a dropkick. Zoro then defends himself against the two as they attack relentlessly. Sham and Bucci then cut open Zoro's chest. Nami goes for Zoro's swords, but Django cuts her with a disc. "What the hell happened?" screams Kuro. Sham and Bucci say Kuro has gotten soft as they lunge towards him. Kuro dodges their attacks and threatens the two with the blades in his thumbs. "If you can't settle this in 5 minutes, none will escape my wrath." Nami kicks Zoro's swords towards him. He then defeats Sham and Bucci with his Tiger Hunt attack. Bucci is then hypnotized to become stronger. "Wake up!" screams Nami as she kicks Luffy.
"Sit on my face."
"I'll split you in two," says Django as he tosses chakram at Nami. "I'll split you in two," says Django as he tosses chakram at Nami. Luffy wakes up as the chakram goes into the back of his head. Luffy pulls out the chakram as he screams in agony. Kaya then appears from the rear as everyone is stunned. She offers Kuro money, but he wants the pirates to destroy the village and for her to leave a will for him. "Leave the village!" yells Kaya. Usopp attacks Kuro, but he dodges the attack. Kuro then looks for the kill, but Luffy intervenes on Usopp's behalf. The children pirates under Usopp then attack Kuro. Kuro then stands up and kicks down Usopp. "Looks like you possess the power of the devil's fruit," says Kuro. "Yup, I ate a Gumu Gumu fruit, and I've become a rubber man." Bucci then performs a flying dropkick on Zoro. Usopp then orders the pirate group to protect Kaya. He then uses his slingshot to knock down Django so that Kaya can escape. "Leave this to us," says Luffy. Usopp wants to help out, but he can't move his body. After defeating Bucci, Zoro puts Usopp on his back. Luffy distracts Kuro from interfering. Elsewhere, Django has found Kaya and the kids. Kuro proves to be quite strong. 3 years ago, Captain Kuro was constantly chased by the government. Tired of this lifestyle, he had someone else turn himself in as Captain Kuro as he escaped. In the now, Luffy uses a rock to destroy Kuru's claws. "My dreams are far greater than your plans," yells Luffy. Kuro manages to stand up, stating that all his crew members will die with no exception, including Django. In the forest, Django attempts to hypnotize Kaya, but the boys interfere with his plans. Kuro explains that he intended to kill them all from the beginning. Since them being alive would be to his disadvantage, he can't have anyone know about his real identity. Luffy then knocks him back, saying he doesn't know what a true pirate is. Kuro proceeds to attack everyone in the surrounding area, as Luffy becomes furious. "Come out, you evil butler!" yells Luffy. Django retrieves the will from Kaya as he prepares to kill her. Zoro and Usopp then arrive in the nick of time. Meanwhile, Luffy wraps his arms around Kuro and headbutts him in the face. Luffy then tosses the limbless body of Kuro towards the Black Cat pirates. After defeating Django, Usopp tells the kids and Kaya to keep everything that happened a secret. Usopp then thanks Luffy's crew for helping protect the village. Kaya tends to Mary's wounds as the latter agrees to go along with the fictitious story. Elsewhere, Usopp reveals that he's going to leave the village and become a real pirate. He then officially disbands the Usopp pirate group. Kaya tells Luffy that she's going to give him a ship as a thanks for everything that he did. "Wow," says Luffy. Usopp wants to start his own pirate crew, but Zoro tells him to hop aboard. As they leave, Mary tells Kaya about Usopp's childhood. Turns out his father never returned to the island, and his mom died when he was very young. In the now, Luffy's crew celebrates their new member. Usopp then draws the Jolly Roger for the Going Merry ship. He then demonstrates his proficiency in shooting a cannon. Luffy then takes out a guy that Zoro recognizes as Johnny. Turns out that Zoro worked with Johnny and Yosaku as a bounty hunter in the past. The crew decides to look for a sea cook, as Johnny says he knows where one is. They then arrive at the Barati restaurant. Iron Fist Fullbody is not too kind to the crew and orders them to be sunk. Luffy, however, repels the cannonball right back at them. Later on, Sanji makes Fullbody look foolish in front of his date. Luffy is then brought before Zeph, the owner of the restaurant. Zeph wants Luffy to work at his restaurant for 1 year without pay to pay off the damages. Fullbody takes out his rage on Sanji, but the cook isn't having any of it. Luffy wants the punishment to be cut down to 1 week, so the two get violent with each other. One of the Barati staff members sees Sanji holding Fullbody from his neck. Zeph and Luffy then come crashing down from the ceiling. Zeph then kicks Fullbody and tells him to get out of the restaurant. An escaped prisoner is then beaten up since he's not a paying customer. Sanji proceeds to feed the prisoner on the deck. The prisoner then remarks how delicious the food is. "Looks like I found a good cook," says Luffy. "Lucky, you got some food." Luffy tells Sanji to join his crew, but the cook refuses his offer. Jean from the Krieg pirate crew warns Luffy about the Grand Line. Jean then returns to his crew. Luffy then begins his work as an errand boy in the kitchen. After seeing Nami, Sanji falls head over heels for her. Jean then offers to guide Don Krieg to the Barati. Nami uses her charm on Sanji to get her food comped. 2 days later, Don Krieg's pirate ship makes its presence known. "That ship! It's in complete shambles!" Don Krieg asks for some water and food and says he's got plenty of money. Sanji brings him some food. After eating it, he knocks down Sanji with a clothesline. "Nice restaurant you've got here. I'll take it." Don Krieg demands that they feed his men before they starve to death. Sanji gets ready to prepare the food, but the other chefs point their guns at him. Patty knocks Sanji down and points a meatball cannon at Don Krieg. However, Krieg was wearing armor underneath his clothing. He then fires at the surrounding chefs. Zeph then comes in with a bag of food, sufficient for 100 men. We then find out that Zeph is known as Red Leg Zeph. Because Zeph survived the Grand Line, Krieg demands that he hand over his log of his journals. Luffy, wanting to become the Pirate King, challenges Krieg himself. Krieg takes the food and tells him to hand over the ship and the travel log, or they'll be buried at the bottom of the sea. Jean then reveals that all 50 ships of the Krieg pirate fleet were destroyed by a single man. It turns out that the hawk-eyed man did it. Upon hearing this, Zoro becomes distressed. Turns out that this is the same man that Zoro is searching for. Don Krieg's pirates scarf down the food in an instant. Despite barely surviving their last trip to the Grand Line, Krieg is hell-bent on going back. They begin their attack, but their galleon is suddenly cut in half. Johnny and Yosaku tell Luffy that Nami took the Going Merry and sailed away. It turns out that Nami's betrayal may have something to do with the wanted poster that she was staring at. The hawk-eyed man that destroyed Krieg's ships is revealed to be Hawkeye's Mihawk. Zoro is happy with the opportunity, challenging Mihawk to a duel. Nami cries, "I want to hurry up and become free, Belle Marie." Zoro begins his battle with Mihawk. Unfortunately, Mihawk's skills turns out to be too much for him, as he's easily bested. Zoro's vigor impresses Mihawk as he pulls out his black sword. "I lost. I'm no match for him. So this is the strength of the world's strongest." Zoro then exposes his chest to Mihawk as a sign of respect. Zoro falls into the water as Luffy attacks Mihawk. "Damn you!" However, Mihawk reveals that Zoro is still alive. After recovering, Zoro tearfully promises he'll never lose again. Don Krieg attacks Mihawk, but he escapes swiftly. Usopp and Zoro plan on retrieving Nami, as Luffy stays behind to help out the chefs with Don Krieg. Don Krieg states that the Grand Line is full of devil fruit users. Krieg's pirates then get ready to take over the Barati. Luffy then knocks out several pirates with his elongated arms. The Barati chefs then launch a smaller boat to attack Krieg's crew. Krieg then tosses the boat towards the Barati, but Sanji kicks it aside so it doesn't come crashing down. The Barati chefs use whatever means to defend their boat. 2nd Division Commander Iron Wall Pearl comes forward, stating that he's invincible. Sanji kicks several pirates into Iron Wall Pearl. He takes out several more as he now stares down Iron Wall Pearl. Krieg then sends Luffy flying into the back of Pearl's head, causing him to bleed from his nose. The blood throws Pearl into a fiery rage. Unfazed, Sanji continues fighting Pearl with his kicks. To prevent him from destroying the ship, Krieg throws a spiked ball towards them, but Luffy sends it flying back. Jean then holds Zeph at gunpoint as a hostage. Sanji then offers himself up to protect Zeph. Pearl uses his distraction to clobber Sanji. Pearl, close! Pearl proceeds to crush Sanji. Sanji then remembers when he was a cook in training 9 years ago. At this time, Red Leg Zeph attacked their ship. Sanji grabbed a pair of knives to protect the ship, but Zeph showed him no mercy. A wave then knocked Sanji overboard. Yet, surprisingly, Zeph jumped in to save him. A few days later, the two are stranded on a massive rock. Later on, we see Zeph severing off his right leg. On the 5th day, Sanji sees a ship, but it doesn't see him. Sanji then looks tired and emaciated on the 70th day. He looks to steal some of Zeph's food, but his bag is full of treasure. Turns out that Zeph ate his own leg and gave the last of the food to Sanji. Zeph then talks about building a restaurant floating on a vast ocean. On the 85th day, the two are finally saved. In the now, Sanji says, "If I can't even put my life at risk to save him, then I can never repay my debt to him." Sanji wants to preserve the Baratie as long as he can. "Surprise!" screams Pearl. Luffy then uses Gum Gum Battle Axe to bust up the fin. He then reveals that he's gonna sink the Baratie so that Krieg doesn't get his prize. Jean then destroys Pearl since he wants to defeat Sanji himself. Sanji and Jean begin their battle as Krieg threatens Luffy with his poison gas MH5. Luffy attempts to bounce it back, but it turns out to be a shuriken bomb. Krieg then states he'll deal with Luffy personally. Jean and Sanji look to be evenly matched. Luffy attempts to attack Krieg when he's distracted, but Krieg fires stakes at him. Jean looks for the finishing blow as Sanji's leg is severely injured. "I can't do it, Don Krieg!" screams Jean. Because Sanji was the first person to show him kindness, he can't kill him. As a result, Krieg no longer considers Jean part of the pirate gang. He thusly wants to attack him. Luffy attempts to convince him that Krieg is a coward, but Jean tosses his gas mask away and accepts his fate. Krieg launches the poisonous bomb, but Luffy steals 2 masks and tosses them towards Sanji and Jean. A mask then appears in front of Luffy. The smoke clears, with everyone safe, except for Jean, who tosses mask towards Luffy. Luffy then charges towards Krieg with massive rage. After suffering many wounds, Luffy lands a punch on Krieg's jaw through a spiked cape. "This ain't no place for me to die," says Luffy. Krieg stands up and whacks Luffy with his shield. Luffy, however, gets behind him and brings him down with his foot. Krieg then brings out his great war spear. Krieg seizes the advantage, but Luffy proves to be too resilient. Krieg goes in for the final blow, but Luffy states that he wants one more. It looks to be all over, but Luffy remarks that he punched it 5 times. Luffy jumps around the ship like a monkey. "Gomu Gomu Gatling Gun!" Luffy continues attacking Krieg's arm as the captain laughs at him. Sanji screams errand boy as Luffy uses Gumu Gumu Bazooka to finally shatter Krieg's armor. Nevertheless, Krieg uses a net to catch Luffy and plans on drowning him underwater since he can't swim. Unrelenting, Luffy uses his final attack, Gomu Gomu Sledgehammer, to defeat Don Krieg. Jean is shocked that Krieg lost as Sanji rescues Luffy from drowning in the water. Krieg goes berserk, claiming that he's the strongest, but Jean knocks out the weakened captain and says they've lost. The Krieg pirates then depart as Luffy recovers from his wounds. Luffy's obligation to Zeff has been fulfilled as he asks Sanji to be a pirate. The other chefs claim that Sanji's soup is disgusting. Luffy says that the soup is good as the other chefs reveal that they were putting on an act. Zeff then asks Luffy to take him to the Grand Line since it's his dream. Sanji finally agrees to join Luffy on the voyage. "Sounds great! Woohoo!" Zeff then recalls his times with Sanji in the restaurant. Before leaving, Sanji bows down and thanks Zeff for taking care of him for so long. "Let's meet again one day, you good-for-nothing bastards!" Yosaku warns Luffy about the Grand Line and the 3 great powers that rule over it. One of which being the Oka Shichibukai, which consists of 7 pirates authorized by the world government. In fact, Mihawk is one of those 7 pirates. They are now heading to Arlong Park, ruled by Arlong, who fought alongside Jinbei, a member of the Shichibukai. Turns out that Nami was staring at a wanted poster with Arlong on it. Meanwhile, at Arlong Park, Arlong makes a deal with a corrupt marine, Nezumi, revealing that she's a crew officer for Arlong. Zoro is then tied up to prevent him from foolishly attacking. Usopp and Johnny then flee the boat as 2 fishmen approach Zoro. A fishman then chases Usopp, but a woman, Nojiko, knocks him out and takes him to her house. It turns out that Chabo's father was killed by a fishman. He wants revenge, but Nojiko tells him to take care of his mother. Nojiko then tells Usopp that Nami and her were foster sisters, and that Nami is part of the Arlong pirates. Usopp is furious that Nami was planning on stealing their money from the beginning. Zoro is then captured by Arlong and is seen in Arlong Park. Nami then admits to being an officer for the Arlong pirates. Nami then saves Zoro from drowning. Villages are required to pay tribute to the Arlong pirates, or face utter destruction. Nami tells Zoro to escape before Arlong comes back. Because Genzo possesses a weapon, Arlong wants to kill him. Nojiko and the other villagers attempt to fight back. Usopp intervenes with an explosive and claims he's got 8,000 subordinates under his command. "We are the supreme beings," says Arlong as he destroys the village. The fishmen then try to catch Usopp. Nami goes to a grave and states she's only 7 million belly away from buying the village from Arlong. Meanwhile, Zoro has defeated all the fishmen in Arlong Park. Zoro then finds out that Arlong is in Kokoyashi Village. Luffy's crew runs into a sea cow, Momu, who's a member of the Arlong Pirates. Luffy and Sanji manage to chase off the monster. Arlong is then outraged to see his brethren knocked out. Arlong then threatens to kill Zoro and Usopp, which makes Nami nervous. Elsewhere, Luffy has Momu take them to Arlong Park. To regain trust with the Arlong Pirates, Nami engages Usopp in battle. Nami stabs Usopp and tosses him into the water. She did all this to save her village. Watching the events from afar, Johnny calls her a witch. Meanwhile, Luffy's crew is almost at Arlong Park. Luffy's boat then lands next to Zoro. Johnny tells the four that Usopp was killed. "There's no way Nami would kill Usopp. We're comrades," screams Luffy. Elsewhere, the Arlong Pirates destroy a marine ship that was coming to liberate the island. Nami walks in and states they were never comrades. She says Usopp is at the bottom of the ocean as Zoro goes in for an attack. Sanji impedes his path, however. Nami will return the ship, but wants them to leave the island. Luffy doesn't want to leave, so he takes a nap. Elsewhere, Usopp is still alive, and it turns out Nami stabbed her own hand during their battle. Usopp finds the others, but accidentally gets kicked by Sanji. Nojiko offers to tell Luffy's crew about how the village got this way if they agree to leave afterwards. Nezumi of the 16th Branch Marines wants to go to Nami's house. The flashback takes us back 8 years. Belle Marie was Nami and Nojiko's adoptive mother. Nami becomes upset one day and says she wanted to be adopted by a rich family. Genzo tells Nami that Belle Marie served as a Marine, and she saved Nami and Nojiko. It turns out that Nami's smile as an infant is what saved Belle Marie. Nojiko finds Nami, but at the same time, the Arlong Pirates make landfall and claim the island for themselves. Arlong takes tribute from the residents of Kokoyashi Village. Arlong visits Belle Marie's house, but she points a gun in his face. Arlong easily turns the tables on her and requires tributes of 100 grand per adult and 50 grand per child. Belle Marie admits to being the girl's mother and will use the rest of her money to save their lives, which means that she'll die. Arlong wants to use Belle Marie as an example as he blows her brains out in front of Nami and Nojiko. "Under my rule, those without money shall die," says Arlong. Later on, Nami becomes a cartographer for the Arlong Pirates, to the disappointment of the other villagers. At Belle Marie's grave, Nami tells Nojiko that she's going to buy the island for 100 million belly. In the now, Nami looks pleased that she's almost free of Arlong. Nezumi arrives at Nami's house, demanding that she return all the stolen goods that she took. Genzo and the other villagers knew about the money Nami was saving up, but they kept it a secret to avoid pressuring her. Nami goes to Arlong saying that he broke their promise. "When exactly did I ever break a promise? Please tell me." Captain Nezumi laughs after stealing Nami's money. If Nami runs away, Arlong will kill everyone in Kokoyashi Village. The citizens want to fight, but Nami tells them that she'll save up the money again. But the citizens are too enraged as they charge forward. Nami stabs her pirate tattoo, but Luffy grabs her hand before she does it again. "Luffy, help me." "Of course I will!" screams Luffy. "Let's go!" "Roger," says his comrades. Luffy busts down the door. "Who's the one called Arlong?" Luffy proceeds to punch Arlong in the face with extreme rage. "Don't you dare make my navigator cry!" The fishermen call upon Momu, but he cries and swims away. Arlong, however, entices him to fight the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu Pinwheel to toss Momu away. He then calls out Arlong. The fishermen and the Straw Hats prepare for battle. Hachan shoots out ink from his mouth. Luffy gets sprayed as his feet get stuck in the ground. Zoro relishes the opportunity, claiming they'll be the ones doing the killing. Usopp accidentally attacks Chu and henceforth runs away. Arlong catches Luffy's arm and picks him up with his feet still stuck in the concrete. He then tosses Luffy into the water. Sanji and Zoro prepare themselves to take on the Arlong Pirates. Meanwhile, Luffy struggles to breathe underwater. Genzo and Nojiko decide that they'll save Luffy from drowning. Though Sanji has been knocked down, he gets up as if nothing happened. Hachan attacks Zoro with 6 swords. Zoro then thinks of Mihawk as he stares down Hachan. The octopus looks to slice up Zoro, but Zoro shatters all his blades. Zoro then finishes him off by sending him into the air. Sanji then jumps into the water to save Luffy. He then sees Genzo and Nojiko resuscitating Luffy. Sanji is then attacked from the rear. "High-level exploding palm," says Kurubi. Sanji covers Kurubi's gills before returning to the surface. Now on land, Sanji uses Mutton Shot to finish off the fishmen. A furious Arlong confronts Sanji and Zoro. Meanwhile, the resuscitation of Luffy continues. Elsewhere, Usopp overcomes his cowardice to challenge Chu. The fishman easily bloodies up Usopp. Though he struggles, Usopp covers Chu in alcohol and sets him ablaze. With a few finishing moves, Usopp defeats the fishman. After gathering herself together, Nami makes her way to Arlong Park. Arlong beats up Sanji and Zoro with ease. Nami arrives as Arlong tells her that she's going to be his cartographer. Nami sides against the fishmen, as the town is thrilled to hear this. Luffy finally wakes up. Zoro aims to distract Arlong, while Sanji releases Luffy's body. Zoro struggles against Arlong, as a revived Hachan chases after Sanji. Arlong wonders how Zoro can still be living with the severity of his injuries. Before Hachan gets to Sanji, his wounds reopen, and he's out of commission. Sanji then breaks the concrete that Luffy is stuck in. "I'm back!" Luffy switches with Zoro and begins his barrage of attacks on Arlong. A rage-filled Arlong fights back and even bites through a stone pillar. Luffy puts continuous pressure on Arlong, even shattering his teeth in the process. "I can beat you," says Luffy to Arlong. Arlong then grows 2 sets of teeth to attack Luffy with. Luffy uses a fishman as a shield as he gets an idea. Luffy puts the fishman's teeth in his mouth, but his jaws aren't strong enough to use them properly. Arlong injures Luffy and jumps into the sea. He then torpedoes his body into Luffy. The attacks continue as Luffy determines that he needs to destroy Arlong's nose. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu Shield to stop Arlong's attack. He then uses his fingernails as a net and his toes as a spear to inflict pain. Arlong returns the favor as his rage is at an all-time high. He then attacks with his sword, Kiribachi. The fight eventually ends up in the cartography room. Arlong says that Nami has drawn all these maps, and once the fishmen memorize them all, they'll be invincible. Luffy gets enraged by the fact that they use Nami for their own personal gain. He then becomes furious, destroying all the maps in the room. "Those maps took Nami 8 years to draw," says Arlong as he clutches onto Luffy's neck. "Thank you," says Nami. Luffy wants to erase the cartography room that she was forced to work in. Arlong bites onto his chest, but Luffy stomps on his face in return. With this, Arlong Park comes crashing down. The townsfolk then stare at the ruins. Luffy then emerges from the wreckage. "Nami, you're my crewmate! Got it?" Nezumi arrives, stating he'll take credit for their victory. Nezumi then arrives, stating that he'll take credit for their victory. Nami whacks him with a staff and demands her money back. Nezumi then vows revenge on Luffy for this as he proceeds to leave. Nami then makes it official that she wants to be a pirate. Zoro then gets his wounds treated as Luffy says that they need a musician on their boat. Nezumi contacts HQ to place a bounty on Luffy's head. The Straw Hats party with the residents of the village to celebrate their victory. Nami gets a new tattoo to cover up the old one. Nami decides to leave all her stolen money with the villagers. However, as she runs onto the ship at the last moment, she decides to pickpocket them. "Take care, everyone!" Nami then bids everyone farewell with a big smile on her face. Genzo then stares at an image of Nami's new tattoo, which is an orange and a pinwheel. The Marines then prepare themselves to exterminate the evil of the seas as Luffy sees his own wanted poster, but he mostly just laughs at it. The crew then decides to go to Logtown, where King Roger was born and executed. Luffy wants to check in on the execution stand as Zoro sees a female swordsman who looks like the spitting image of Kuina. Elsewhere, Mihawk informs Shanks about Luffy's presence, making Shanks quite happy. Nami tries on several outfits, but eventually decides she wants something more casual, upsetting the shop owner. Luffy looks at the execution stand, the place where the greatest pirate ever was put to death, and the place where the pirate age began. Zoro thinks about how that girl he just saw looks like Kuina. He then enters a sword shop to buy 2 new swords. The shop owner becomes fascinated with Zoro's sword and offers to buy it from him, though he gives him a lowball offer. The girl from earlier recognizes the swords as a Wado Ichimonji. She claims it's one of the 21 great swords, and it can't be sold for anything less than 1 million belly. The woman, not knowing who Zoro is, states that his 3 swords remind her of the famous Zoro. She then bemoans how all the great swordsmen are either pirates or bounty hunters. She wants to retrieve all the masterwork blades from the hands of the criminals. The girl then tells Zoro to buy the Sandai Kitetsu, but the shop owner says that it's cursed. Unfazed by this, Zoro accepts the challenge of wielding a cursed sword. Zoro tosses a sword into the air, but it doesn't leave a scratch on him. I'll take it. Impressed by Zoro's skills, the shop owner gives him a black lacquered sword in addition to the kitetsu, free of charge. Unbeknownst to Zoro, the girl with the glasses is Tashigi, a marine. Sanji buys himself an elephant trunk tuna. Nami then buys some clothing from a store. Luffy then stands on the execution stand that King Roger stood upon before his death. A lady then claims she's been looking all over for Luffy. After some talk, Luffy still doesn't recognize her. An explosion takes down the officers as the woman evades the projectile that was heading her way. Buggy the Clown then shows up, revealing that the woman is Lady Alvida. She ate a devil fruit that changed her appearance, and now no attack will leave a wound on her beautiful skin. Buggy blames Luffy for the adventure he had to go on without his body. Kabaji then traps Luffy in the public execution platform. Captain Smoker hears about the pirates running around. Captain Smoker berates Tashigi for being late. Luffy's crew then looks for their captain. Captain Smoker is updated about the situation as the Straw Hats are shocked to see Luffy. Buggy prepares to execute Luffy with glee. Nami says a storm is coming, which could wash away their ship. At the Straw Hat ship, Moji and Richie prepare to set it on fire. After Luffy is beheaded, Captain Smoker plans on catching Buggy and Alvida. With his last words, Luffy says, "I'm the man who will become the Pirate King." Zoro and Sanji head for the execution stand, as Tashigi recognizes Zoro from earlier. Luffy smiles. "Sorry, but it looks like I'm dead." Lightning strikes down as Luffy's hat falls onto the ground. Looks like I survived! How lucky! Luffy's crew runs off as Captain Smoker wonders why Luffy was smiling at the execution stand. In fact, he smiled just like King Roger did when he was about to die. Captain Smoker vows to not allow Luffy to leave the island. That which cannot be stopped, inherited will, a man's dream, and the flow of time. As long as a man continues to seek out the answer to freedom, these things shall never be stopped. Pirate King Roger. Undeterred by his setback, Buggy aims to finish off the Straw Hats. Buggy then turns into a car as Alvida slides down a ramp. Smoker heads for Luffy, as the Marines have developed special nets for capturing Devil Fruit users. Moji and Richie can't get a fire started with the downpour. Nami and Usopp distract the two as they get onto the Going Merry. Tashigi engages Zoro as Luffy and Sanji press forward. Zoro berates Tashigi for looking like Kuina and saying the same stuff as her. Smoker introduces himself to Luffy and deploys his smoke. Sanji attempts to kick him, but it's ineffective. Smoker uses White Blow to knock Sanji back. Smoker smashes Luffy's face to the ground and says his luck has run out. A mysterious man appears from behind as Smoker says the world's government is after him. The world awaits our answer. A gust of wind breaks out as Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro escape. "Why did you help him escape, Dragon?" says Smoker. "What reason do you have for preventing a man from setting sail?" says Dragon. Luffy and the gang hurry onto the ship. Smoker and Tashigi prepare to go to the Grand Line. Buggy and his crew decide on going to the Grand Line as well. In fact, it sounds like Buggy's been there before. The Straw Hats then spot the lighthouse, signaling the Grand Line. "So, what shall we do? To find all blue, to become the Pirate King, to be the greatest swordsman, to draw a map of the world, to become a brave warrior of all the seas. Off to the Grand Line we go!" Nami says that the entrance of the Grand Line is a mountain. The boat then enters the Calm Belt. It turns out that the Grand Line is surrounded by two calm belts. A Sea King then emerges from the water. After a scary encounter, the crew leaves the Calm Belt and gets back on track. They eventually reach the Red Line and see the entrance to the waterway. Despite some difficulties, they enter the waterway safely. As they enter the Grand Line, a gigantic whale blocks their path. The whale destroys Luffy's special seat, so he punches it in the eye. The whale then swallows everyone but Luffy. Inside the whale, the crew comes upon an island. Luffy enters a door in the whale as the others spot a ship. The crew comes upon a lighthouse keeper, Crocus. The whale then starts bashing his head against the Red Line. The mysterious Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday then enter the whale, aiming to eliminate Crocus. Due to the whale's movement, Luffy, Mr. Nine, and Miss Wednesday fall into the whale. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday want to destroy the whale, but Luffy knocks them out. Laboon, the whale, was left behind by some pirates, but they never returned for him. He thusly waited 50 years and is growing impatient. Crocus allows Luffy's crew to exit the whale. In the past, Crocus told Laboon that the pirates would never return. That's when he started hitting his head. Luffy then takes the mast and starts fighting with Laboon. It's a tie. Our fight has yet to be settled, so we must fight each other again. Once Luffy sails the Grand Line, he'll come back to duke it out with Laboon. Luffy paints a Jolly Roger on Laboon. Crocus tells Nami that they'll need a log pose to navigate the Grand Line, which is a special type of compass. The final step in the Grand Line is Raftel, with only the Pirate King and his crew confirming of its existence. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday then beg the crew to take them back to their town. Nami admits they accidentally broke their log pose, but Crocus gives them his to help them out. Laboon says farewell as the Straw Hats set sail. The unpredictable waters make navigation quite difficult. The group finally reaches an island with giant cacti, i.e. Whiskey Peak. Nami explains that they'll need to stay on the island while the log pose records its magnetic field. The townsfolk of Whiskey Island then start cheering them on as they arrive. The Straw Hats proceed to enjoy themselves with food and women. As the Straw Hats fall asleep for the night, the town finds out that Luffy has a 30 million belly bounty on him. Zoro, however, only pretended to be passed out, as he calls out the Baroque work agents. Zoro makes quick work of the crime syndicate. Mr. 8, Miss Monday, Mr. 9, and Miss Wednesday decide to deal with him personally. Zoro tries out his new swords on the Baroque work agents. Even nuns and children are out to kill him. Eventually, a man holds him down and pounds his face. Zoro easily turns the tables on him. Mr. 8 attacks Zoro with his saxophone that shoots bullets. Mr. 9 then uses aerobatic moves, but Zoro easily scares him. Miss Wednesday hypnotizes Zoro, but her riding bird, Karoo, goes the wrong way. She then takes Luffy hostage. Mr. 8 fires bullets from his hair, but Zoro pulls Mr. 9 into the blast as he goes flying into Miss Wednesday. Zoro then finishes off Mr. 8. Just then, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine show up to clean up the mess. Well, actually, they discovered that Mr. 8 and Miss Wednesday found out about the boss's secret, so they're here to eliminate them. Mr. 5 hits Mr. 9 with an explosive as he chases down Miss Wednesday, who, as it turns out, is Princess Vivi of Alabasta. Nami then tells Mr. 8 they'll save Vivi for 1 million belly. Nami agrees to save the princess, but the situation is uncertain. Vivi continues escaping as Mr. 5 takes down Miss Monday by exploding a part of his body with a special ability. Zoro then intervenes, saying he's coming to save Miss Wednesday. It turns out that the final objective of the Baroque works is to create an ideal nation, and Mr. Ro is their boss. Miss Valentine looks to kill Zoro as Luffy challenges Zoro to a fight. It turns out that Luffy is pissed that Zoro cut up the people that were so friendly to them. Zoro tries to explain. "Don't make excuses!" yells Luffy. Mr. 5 looks to kill Luffy, but the Straw Hat Pirate easily dispatches him. Luffy proceeds to yell at Zoro as the two clash with each other. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine plan to use this distraction to their advantage. But... God, you two are annoying! Getting in the way of our fight! So damn annoying. Who the hell are they anyways? Nami stops the fight by punching the two. Nami tries to make a contract with Vivi, but she refuses. It turns out that Vivi's country, Alabasta, is on the verge of chaos. And it turns out that the Baroque works were the ones instigating a revolution. To aid her country, Vivi decided to infiltrate the Baroque works with her counselor, Igagram, in order to understand the organization's true motives. Baroque works' true objective is to take over the kingdom of Alabasta. Vivi then accidentally reveals the boss to the organization, Crocodile, a member of the Oko Shichibukai. And because some undercover agents heard about this, the Straw Hats were put on a wanted list. Igaram then asked for an Eternal Posa, and it turns out that this one has recorded the magnetic field for Alabasta. Igaram then leaves Princess Vivi in the Straw Hat's care. Unfortunately, as Igaram is sailing away, his boat explodes. Princess Vivi cries as Nami assures her that they'll get safely back to Alabasta. Luffy grabs Usopp and Sanji so they can leave Whiskey Point in a hurry. The crew boards the ship as the fog begins to lift. Miss All Sunday then makes her presence known. She disarms Usopp and Sanji and even takes Luffy's straw hat from him. She then tosses Vivi an Eternal Pose and says it points to an uninhabited island. Luffy crushes it, however. "Don't you dare think you can choose the path of our journey." Miss All Sunday then leaves on her turtle. The Straw Hats then make their way to the island, Little Garden. A large dolphin then jumps out of the water. The crew enters the little garden, which looks like a thick jungle. "I smell adventure ahead." The group then comes across a dinosaur, which Luffy proceeds to ride. Nami and Usopp encounter Brogy, a large Viking. He then slices off a dinosaur's head. The giant Dory then slices off the head of the Brachiosaurus. The two giants are from Elfbaf, as they cook up the dinosaurs to eat. In addition, they've been in conflict with each other for over 100 years, as the two engage each other with smiles on their faces. Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week decide they'll take on the pirates that defeated Mr. 5. Meanwhile, Dory and Brogy's fight ends in a draw. Dory drinks some rum, but it explodes in his mouth. Dory proceeds to get enraged and blames the Straw Hats for the incident. "Sorry about this, mister, but I'm gonna have to shut you up for a bit." Dory attacks Luffy with his massive sword, but the Straw Hat pirate dodges. Luffy uses Gumu Gumu Rocket to deal a significant blow. Due to being weakened from Brogy earlier, Dory collapses to the ground. Luffy determines that someone else must have been behind this rum incident. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine then enter a wax house as they are greeted by Mr. 3. The two giants have large bounties on their heads, and it was Mr. 3 who placed the bomb inside the rum. A volcano goes off, signaling the next fight between the giants. Usopp becomes inspired by the giants and wants to become a brave warrior of the seas. Luffy warns Dory that the fight has been manipulated by a third party, but the giant seems unconcerned. The two giants then go at each other. Mr. 3 plans on defeating the Straw Hats without actually fighting them. Zoro and Nami are then caught by duplicate versions of their crewmates. Vivi suspects that the Baroque agents are behind these weird occurrences. Mr. 3 then makes Dory trip so that Brogy can have the opportunity to finish him off. Brogy then cuts down Dory. "Who was it? Show yourself!" Mr. 3 then uses his power to cover Brogy in wax. Vivi then finds Karoo incapacitated on the ground. Vivi attacks Mr. 5, but he captures her with ease. Luffy then gets trapped under a rock. Mr. 5 then uses his exploding ability to injure Luffy. Mr. 5 then returns Vivi to Mr. 3, as he uses his wax to trap the princess in place. Mr. 3 creates a gigantic candle structure and traps Zoro, Nami, and Vivi within the base. Mr. 3 intends on turning them into wax dolls. Brogy then becomes enraged by Mr. 3's deceptive nature, but Mr. 5 explodes his arm. Mr. 3 then stabs Brogy with a wax sword in his hand and foot. Nami and Vivi panic as their bodies are covered in wax. Zoro then bravely claims that he'll cut off his own feet to free himself. Though it sounds crazy, Brogy is inspired by Zoro's spirit. Just then, Luffy, Usopp, and Karoo burst into the proceedings. Just in time, in fact, because Zoro was already halfway through cutting off his own legs. Mr. 3 looks ready to take on Luffy. He starts off by binding Luffy's legs with wax. However, Luffy uses the candle as a hammer to destroy the candle pillar. Unfortunately, Nami, Zoro, and Vivi still can't move. Luffy then dodges Mr. 3's candle harpoon. Luffy then manages to punch Mr. 3, sending him flying. Luffy then says he's not in the mood to save them, as Miss Golden Week activates Color's trap. Usopp then notices weird painting below Luffy's feet. It turns out that Miss Golden Week can use the power of color to control people. Black, as it turns out, is the color of betrayal. Luffy steps off the color black, but then Miss Golden Week paints the laughing yellow on his back. Meanwhile, Usopp is chased by Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. Usopp fires at Luffy to break him out of his trance. Usopp is then shot by Mr. 5 with Breeze Breath Bomb. Elsewhere, Sanji comes upon Mr. 3's wax house. Luffy is then pissed that all his friends look like solid wax. Mr. 3 creates a massive suit of wax around his body as he launches himself into Luffy. Usopp is then shot by Mr. 5 as Luffy is crushed by Mr. 3. Luckily, Karoo and Usopp wrapped an oil-soaked rope around the wax structure, as Luffy sets it all on fire with Mr. 3's burning hair. Nami and Vivi are freed from the wax as they defeat Miss Valentine. Zoro, who was also released, finishes off Mr. 5. Elsewhere, Luffy and Karoo chase Mr. 3 in the woods. Luffy then runs into wax duplicates of Mr. 3. Nonetheless, Luffy stamps his foot in the real Mr. 3's face out of instinct, as Karoo terrifies Miss Golden Week. Inside Mr. 3's house, Sanji picks up a call from Mr. O, the Baroque Works boss. Brogy cries about Dory's death, but then he wakes up, saying that he was only passed out for a bit. After a heartfelt moment, the two giants get ready to fight again. Meanwhile, Sanji impersonates Mr. 3's voice on the phone with Mr. O. The Unluckies are heading their way and will give them an eternal pose to Alabasta. Just then, the Unluckies arrive at Mr. 3's house, so Sanji has to take them out. After finishing the phone call, Mr. O tells Miss All Sunday to send Mr. 2 to assassinate Mr. 3. Smoker intercepts the call between Mr. O and Sanji. Meanwhile, Sanji tells the crew that he just got off the phone with Mr. O, and he stole an eternal pose from the Baroque Works. As Luffy's crew begins to set sail, the giants tell them to sail straight, no matter what happens. The Going Merry goes forward, as Brogy says, "In the name of Elfboff, we vow to clear the path." A giant golden fish then emerges from the water, blocking their path. Heeding the giant's advice, the Going Merry heads straight into the goldfish's mouth. The giants perform Supreme Kingdom to blast a hole into the goldfish's body, allowing Luffy's ship to go straight through. Afterwards, the two giants remember the old days through a flashback. The Straw Hats look happy to finally resume their trip to Alabasta. Unfortunately, though, Nami collapses to the ground with an extremely high fever. Without a doctor on the ship, the Straw Hats get concerned. Actually more freaked out, to be honest with you. Vivi then finds out that Alabasta is on the verge of civil war. Nami then pretends as though she's feeling fine. She then senses a change in the atmosphere and orders the ship to turn around. Given the emerging crisis in her country, Vivi wants to return as fast as possible. The first priority is to make sure that Nami gets better as fast as possible. A giant cyclone then appears. They avoid it, but soon end up in an area with a bunch of snow. The crew then comes upon a shivering man walking on top of the water. Out of nowhere, a gigantic ship emerges from the water. The pirates from the ship then come down with their guns, as it looks like the Straw Hats are in a bit of trouble. The captain of the ship, Tin Plate Wapol, then eats a sword. He even eats the ship itself. Luffy puts his hands in the pirate's mouth, outstretches them, and leaves him off of the boat. "Get off my ship!" Afterwards, the Straw Hats go to sleep for the night. In a flashback, the blinking parents vow revenge on the Straw Hats. Vivi explains that to survive on the Grand Line, you have to endure any type of season. The crew reaches a snowy, mountainous island. Unfortunately, someone tells them to turn around immediately and leave at once. In the commotion, one of the villagers shouts Vivi. Vivi is fine, but she and Luffy beg for the villagers to save Nami. Dalton takes the Straw Hats to the town of Bighorn. The crew looks at the castle, where the lone doctor of the entire country lives, Dr. Kuriha. There's rumors that she rides on a sleigh on moonlit nights, hence the reason she's called a witch. Luffy puts Nami on his back, and him and Sanji begin their hike up the mountain. Dalton says that the crew of the 5 pirates, with their captain Blackbeard, utterly destroyed their country. In their misfortune, they were able to get rid of the tyrannical Wapol. During the attack of Blackbeard, Wapol abandoned the country. As Luffy and Sanji make their trek, a ferocious rabbit begins to attack them. Meanwhile, King Wapol makes his way back to Drum Island. Dr. Kuriha, master of the doctors, comes down to a nearby village to heal a small boy. Luffy and Sanji are then attacked by a giant herd of Lapin, which are giant rabbits. Sanji wants Luffy to avoid battle so Nami doesn't get injured in the process. The two are forced to run as Wapol arrives back at his kingdom. When he finds out that the Straw Hats are on the island, he orders his men to find and kill them. Upon hearing that Wapol returned, Dalton rushes to find him so that he can eliminate them. Wapol makes his return, but is furious to find out that Dr. Kuriha took his castle in his absence. "That's as far as you'll go," yells Dalton. Due to an absurd kingdom law, doctors were exiled from Drum Kingdom. The villagers look to attack, but Dalton sacrifices himself for their sake. Because of the jumping Lapin, an avalanche starts rushing down the mountain. Sanji and Luffy attempt to flee as the snow eventually covers them. They get out, but the Lapin prove to be quite resilient. Sanji tosses Luffy to a higher elevation so that he can save Nami. Wapol uses his devil fruit powers to run away from the village as the avalanche comes down. Afterwards, Wapol blames the Straw Hats for the avalanche. Luffy then grabs Sanji's unconscious body as he carries him and Nami up the mountain. Luffy is then found by Wapol and attacked by his men. Unfortunately, all Luffy can do is evade their attacks. Luckily, 2 Lapin come in and defend him because he saved one earlier. Luffy then spends 3 hours climbing up the cliff to the castle. "What a grand castle," says Luffy. The boy collapses from exhaustion, but someone grabs him before he plunges to his death. Vivi, Zoro, and Usopp recover from the recent avalanche. Zoro beats up one of the guards so that he can steal his coat for warmth. Inside the castle, Nami wakes up to a strange talking animal that is taking care of her. Dr. Kuriha then introduces herself and says that Nami would have died in 2 days from a poisonous tick bite. Meanwhile, Luffy and Sanji burst into the room, attempting to eat Chopper, the furry animal. "I'm not your food!" yells Chopper. Despite this, Luffy and Sanji proceed to chase him around the castle. While Dr. Kuriha chases the two, Chopper has a conversation with Nami. In the now, Luffy and Sanji chase Chopper again as Dr. Kuriha tells Nami that Chopper ate a devil fruit and was chased off by his fellow reindeer. In the now, Chopper uses his ability to transform into his muscular form. Impressed by his ability, Luffy wants Chopper to join his pirate crew. Chopper warns the doctor that Wapol is back. Outside, Wapol is furious that the flag on his castle has changed. Luffy looks to punch Wapol as we then begin a flashback going back 6 years ago. In it, we learn about Dr. Hiluluk. Though Chopper didn't trust humans at this point in time, because they were the ones that injured him, the doctor proved to him that he was of no threat. Soon afterwards, Chopper is cured of all his injuries. The doctor then gives the reindeer the name Tony Tony Chopper. Captain of Drum's Royal Guards, Dalton, worries about the way in which Wapol is ruling the kingdom. Wapol demonstrates his crude nature by slapping a younger Princess Vivi. Dr. Hiluluk tells Chopper that the kingdom is sick in their hearts, but he is confident that this is no incurable disease. After a full year of treatment, the doctor releases Chopper from his care. He eventually chases the reindeer off, but ends up sobbing profusely afterwards. Shortly afterwards, Dr. Hiluluk discovers that he's gonna die. Desperate to save the doctor, Chopper ventures off to look for a cure. Unfortunately, he encounters his old herd and ends up battling them, sustaining severe wounds in the process. He ends up winning and takes a medicinal mushroom to Dr. Hiluluk. "Why, I can already feel the energy surging through my whole body. Thank you very much, Chopper." Now that Dr. Hiluluk has the panacea that will cure even the sick heart of this country, he is absolutely exuberant, and he even wants to teach Chopper about being a doctor. Upon showing Dr. Kuriha the mushroom, she immediately slaps the reindeer, saying that he fed him a poisonous mushroom. Upon finding this out, Chopper cries profusely. Meanwhile, Dr. Hiluluk arrives at the castle, saying he's come to cure the MD-20. Dr. Hiluluk falls into Wapol's trap, but is pleased that no one is sick. The good doctor then commits suicide, claiming that it's been a spectacular life. Chopper comes rushing in and battles with Dalton. Dalton urges him to run away as he calls Wapol a fool. Chopper returns to Kuriha and says he'll become a doctor that will cure anything. The flashback finally ends with Luffy punching Wapol in the face. Wapol is beyond ticked off by Luffy's antics. Chopper then says, "I won't let the likes of you knock down Doc's conviction." Chess and Karu Marumo attack with Chopper and Sanji fighting back. Luffy grabs onto Sanji's leg and launches himself into Wapol, causing him to spit out Chopper. Elsewhere, Dalton is saved by a couple of doctors whom work for Wapol. Back at the castle, Wapol transforms himself into a house that can shoot cannonballs. He then eats his two subordinates and fuses them into Chess Marumo. Dalton recovers, saying that he wants to settle things personally with Wapol. Wapol shoots down Doc's flag and brutalizes Chopper. Luffy replants the flag and says that Wapol could never understand the true meaning of a pirate's flag. Due to Usopp being too weak, Zoro decides to carry Dalton up the mountain. Wapol aims to shoot down the flag, but Luffy remains steadfast in keeping it upright. "See? You can't break this flag!" Sanji looks to attack Wapol, but Kurira stops him in his tracks. Chess Marumo says that Chopper has no friends, but Luffy comes flying down saying that Chopper's got a friend. The final battle looks ready to commence, with Luffy taking on Wapol and Chopper taking on Chess Marumo. Marumo then uses his snow-melting arrows. Chopper begins to transform into his various forms that confuse his opponent. 7 frickin' forms? He's the world's coolest reindeer! Through a series of maneuvers, Chopper discovers the weak point of Chess Marumo and performs Cherry Blossom Carving Iron Hoof. Wapol then sneaks off into the castle, appalled by what has been done to it. He then starts chasing Nami since she's part of the Straw Hats. He slims up and catches her, but Luffy puts his foot right into his face. Wapol runs away and unveils his secret cannon, titled the Royal Drum 7-Barrel Tin Can King Cannon. However, he finds some living birds inside, giving Luffy the opportunity to finally fight him fair and square. Meanwhile, various townspeople along with Usopp, Zoro, and Vivi take the ropeway up to the castle. Dalton reminisces about all the injustices committed by King Wapol. Meanwhile, Luffy tries to keep Wapol's mouth closed, but then the king's tongue turns into a cannon. Dalton tells everyone that he plans on blowing up the castle when they arrive. The battle with Wapol continues, as Luffy uses Gumu Gumu Bazooka. Dalton then reaches the top and bows down to Luffy, thanking him for his service, as it looks like Wapol has been defeated. Usopp calls Chopper a monster and eventually scares him off. Kuriha takes care of Dalton, Sanji, and Nami inside the castle. Nami gives the doctor a key to the armory, so she ends up waiving the bill for the treatment. Chopper comes back and says he's a monster, and so he can't become a pirate. "Oh, just shut up and come with us already," screams Luffy. Chopper cries and eventually decides he wants to be a Straw Hat. Chopper tells Kuriha that he's leaving, but she starts chucking butcher knives at him. He turns into his reindeer form and he pulls away the Straw Hats on a sleigh through the night. Kuriha then looks pleased that Chopper is finally happy. As a final send-off, Kuriha then dyes the snowflakes pink with Dr. Hiluluk's pink powder, making Chopper cry tears of joy. Afterwards, he later looked cherry blossoms that fell on the fateful night became known throughout the world as the voice that signaled the birth of freedom in a country yet without a name. Ace gave Luffy's wanted poster to the villagers and said he'll be waiting for him in Alabasta for 10 days. Koreha then says, "It seems the will of the D is still alive." On the Going Merry, Chopper has fun with his new friends. Going back a few days, Mr. 2 looks for Mr. 3 so that he can kill him, but he is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, at Alabasta, Crocodile is seen as a hero to the people. It turns out that Crocodile has a bounty of 81 million belly. Several pirates stab Crocodile, but it has no effects on him. He then creates a massive sandstorm with his power. Vivi then explains that Crocodile is seen as a hero in Alabasta because he keeps the people there safe. She then explains the Baroque Works ranking system and how there's 13 pairs of agents. The officer agents are about to be gathering in one place. While fishing, Luffy and Usopp catch Mr. 2 on their line. He demonstrates his ability to imitate anyone he touches by changing his face to Luffy's. After the show, he takes his leave and returns to his boat. Realizing they just came into contact with the enemy, the Straw Hats begin to panic since he has now changed his appearance to look like them. As the crew reaches Alabasta, they all place a bandage on their left arm to be an identifying mark that they are the true member of the Straw Hats. Inside the town already are Captain Smoker and Portgas the Ace, both of whom are looking for the Straw Hat Pirates. "Oh, I'm just looking around, for my little brother that is," says Ace, 2nd Division Commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Vivi then notices Mr. 3's ship on the shore. Inside the restaurant, Smoker confronts Ace. Smoker wants to arrest him, but then Luffy runs into his back. Ace is so happy to see Luffy, but Smoker smashes his face into the ground, looking to take the Straw Hats into custody. Not wanting to be captured by Smoker, Luffy quickly takes off. Elsewhere, Nami and Vivi have bought some new clothing for the climate, much to Sanji's delight. Vivi then tells him they need to stop the rebel forces by going over to a town called Yuba. As Smoker chases Luffy, Ace intervenes on the Straw Hats' behalf. "You haven't changed at all, have you, Luffy?" says Ace. Ace tells Luffy to go on ahead, as they'll talk at a later time. Vivi gives Karoo a letter that is to be delivered to her father. Luffy explains that Ace is 3 years older than him, and he's surprised that he's a devil fruit user as well. Ace then hops on board, asking Luffy and his friends if they want to join the Whitebeard Pirates, but Luffy declines. Ace then hands Luffy a piece of paper that will allow them to see each other again. It turns out that Ace is after a pirate known as Blackbeard, who used to be a member of the Whitebeard Pirates' 2nd Division. As Ace leaves, he takes out the Baroque Work billions with relative ease. "Hurry up and come up to the top, Luffy." Afterwards, Luffy and the Straw Hats prepare to go to Yuba Oasis to stop the rebellious forces through words. Meanwhile, Crocodile and Miss All Sunday finish preparations for their future operation. The various Baroque Work agents meet at the Spider's Cafe, with the instructions to head to Rain Base, the City of Dreams. That's where they'll meet the mysterious man they call Boss. Earlier that day, the Straw Hats just crossed the Sandora River on their way to Yuba Oasis. The group then meets a pack of Kung Fu Duong. For years now, droughts have affected the lands of Alabasta. 2 years ago, a green powder was spilled in the capital of Alabasta, a powder called dance powder. Essentially, it's a powder that artificially makes rain. To do this, however, it steals rain from neighboring countries. Vivi believes this was set up by Crocodile to make her father look bad and to precipitate a rebellion. "I will never forgive that man," screams Vivi. The Straw Hats struggle with the heat of the desert. A bunch of soggy birds pretend to be injured to steal their luggage. The crew then struggles with a giant lizard. The women then ride a camel that only allows girls to ride on him. After much trouble, the Straw Hats reach Yuba. The oasis has dried up, however. The crew then meets a Yuba villager, Toto. Vivi then has a flashback of 11 years ago. Koza, a young kid, asks the king to stop the drought in the village. Toto was this boy's father. Later on, Vivi became the sub-leader of the Suna Suna clan, just under Koza. One day, some bandits attempted to capture Vivi, but the Suna Suna clan helped her escape. Koza, in particular, showed considerable bravery in protecting Vivi from the bandits. Cobra and Igergram arrive shortly afterwards to stop the bandits. When Koza recovers at the palace, he tells Vivi that her dad will allow them to build a new city called Yuba. In the now, it is revealed that Koza is the leader of the rebellion, and he wants to strike the capital. While the Straw Hats sleep, the Baroque Work agents meet at the rain dinners. Crocodile is revealed to be the boss, as he announces the final plan, titled Utopia. "In just one night, this country will become our utopia," says Crocodile. Toto hands Luffy some water, but shortly afterwards, Luffy says he quits. Crocodile is furious that the Straw Hats and Vivi are still alive. Using his power, Mr. 2 shows Crocodile the faces of all the Straw Hats, except for Sanji. Crocodile then sends Mr. 3 to his death, under the wrath of giant crocodiles. Do not let the princess and the pirates in Nakadoria. Vivi and Koza must not see each other, says Crocodile. Luffy says Vivi is too naive for not wanting people to die. She can't blame the rebels as everything is Crocodile's fault. The Straw Hats make their way to Crocodile's home in Rainbase, as Koza prepares to attack Alabasta. King Cobra then receives a message from Karoo. He is flabbergasted that Crocodile is attempting to take over the country. Cobra then decides he'll attack the Rainbase and Crocodile at once. With this, the rebels will attack the king in Alabasta. The king will attack Crocodile, and the Straw Hats will attack Crocodile as well. And all while this is going on, the Baroque work agents will implement Plan Utopia. The Straw Hats arrive at Rainbase, and Luffy immediately runs into Smoker and Tashigi. From there, the Straw Hats decide to split up and meet at Crocodile's casino. Tashigi demands a fight from Zoro, but the pirate runs off. Luffy meets up with the Straw Hats as they enter the casino, with Smoker on their tail. Meanwhile, Crocodile is pleased that the pirates have arrived. "Crocodile, get your ass out here!" screams Luffy. After the ruckus, the Straw Hats are invited into the VIP room. Unfortunately, they're put into a holding cell. Smoker states that the cell is made of a sea stone, which drains Devil Fruit users of their powers. Crocodile mocks them and says that his partner is picking up the guest of honor. Meanwhile, Vivi is rescued by Pell, the strongest warrior in all of Alabasta, who can fly through his Devil Fruit power. Miss All Sunday then arrives, stating that this is the first time she's seen a human fly. Vivi berates Miss All Sunday for killing Igagram, but Miss All Sunday impales her with her own hand. All Sunday can make various parts of her body grow out like flowers. She takes down Pell and takes Vivi to Crocodile's lair. Crocodile intimidates her, so she lashes out. It looks like she's won, but thanks to Crocodile's Sunasuna no Mi, he's unharmed. Basically, he can turn his body into sand. It's now time for Plan Utopia to start. The king announces that he stole the rain from Nanohana. He then states he's gonna crush this town. Koza shows up, blaming him for killing so many innocent people. Koza is then shot as a ship crashes into the harbor. It is then revealed that Mr. 2 was impersonating the king to start a riot. Enraged by the incident, Koza orders his men to prepare for war. "No forgiveness for the king!" yells Koza. While he's conflicted, Chaka orders the royal guard to push back the rebellion. Crocodile explains how he slowly tore down the country to get to this point. Vivi says if they can get to Alabasta before the rebellion does, they can stop them. Crocodile then tosses a key for the cage into the crocodile pit where they feed. There are 8 hours left until the killing begins. One of the crocodiles then swallows the key. Crocodile tells them that the room will flood in 1 hour as he prepares to leave. "Do you think sandstorms can attack a town successfully so many times?" says Crocodile, indicating that he was the one that destroyed Yuba's oasis. Luffy pleads with Vivi to get them out of the cage, while Crocodile laughs. Vivi barely dodges the ferocious creatures as Crocodile receives a phone call. It turns out that it's Sanji on the other end, and he tells Crocodile that he's at the front gate of the casino. Vivi attempts to escape, but is stopped promptly by Crocodile. Vivi tells everyone to hang on as she looks for help. Outside the casino, Crocodile finds all the millions defeated. He chases after the culprit, but it's Chopper in disguise. The bridge to the casino sinks as Sanji asks Vivi where he needs to go to save his friends. Meanwhile, Chopper changes his appearance to sneak past Crocodile. Smoker says that Miss All Sunday has a 70 million belly bounty on her, and this crisis could eventually spread over to the entire world. Elsewhere, Sanji kicks one of the crocodiles, surprising all his comrades. And thus, the search for the key begins. Crocodile returns, however, revealing that he had the real key at this entire time. Nevertheless, when he returns to the room, the Straw Hats are gone, leaving a message on Mr. 3 saying, "See you later, you crock of shit!" In the not-too-distant past, Mr. 3 saved himself inside the crocodile by surrounding himself with wax. They then had Mr. 3 create a key out of wax to set them free. The crew swims their way out of the room as it fills with water. Smoker wonders why they saved him, but it was Luffy's orders, so Sanji followed. Smoker allows them to go, but says the next time that they meet, they're all dead. Smoker then calls in reinforcements as Chopper comes in on top of a giant crab. Vivi is grabbed by Crocodile's hook, but Luffy unhooks her and grabs it himself so that he can go face Crocodile. "Get Vivi to the palace," says Luffy. "We'll be waiting for you in Alabasta." replies Vivi. Nico Robin, i.e. Miss All Sunday, heads towards Alubarna as Crocodile gives Luffy 3 minutes. Despite Luffy's best attacks, Crocodile's ability to transform into sand renders them all useless. Crocodile then creates a hole in the quicksand as Luffy manages to escape. He then uses Gomu Gomu Net, but Crocodile strikes back. Luffy's arm then begins to wither, making him panic. Luffy chomps down on Crocodile, but the Baroque Works boss has had enough. He then creates a massive sandstorm that is set to hit Yuba. Yuba yells at him to stop it, but Crocodile uses his hook to impale him. He promised we would just have to wait for him in Alubarna, says Vivi. In Yuba, water starts coming up. Luffy mutters water as Crocodile throws him into the quicksand. Smoker is heading out to sea as he tells Tashiki to watch the country of Alabasta very closely. Meanwhile, the rebels close in on Alubarna as the capital prepares for the coming attack. Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas are seen with a bloodied up King Cobra. It turns out that all the key forces are set to collide in Alubarna. Luffy's head then pops out of the sand. Meat! Miss All Sunday then urges Pell to save Luffy. The Straw Hats then traverse many obstacles on their way to Alubarna, and they eventually meet up with Karoo and the Super Spot Build Duck Squad. Elsewhere, the Baroque Works agents talk about the Straw Hats and how they need to eliminate Vivi. Miss Merry Christmas then spots the Straw Hats on some ducks. Mr. Four fires an exploding baseball at the ducks, but it's ineffective. Through their deceptive measures, the Straw Hats trick the agents, allowing Vivi and Karoo to catch up with the rebels. She attempts to stop the rebels, but an undercover Baroque Works agent fires a cannonball to distract them. Koza and the rebels charge past Vivi as the dust obscures their vision. "Bring Alabasta down!" screams the rebels. Usopp then arrives, offering to give her a ride. However, Vivi determines that he's an imposter as she rides away on Karoo. Mr. Two then wonders how she knew he was a fake, as he starts to pursue her. Karoo then rushes up the cliffs of Alubarna. Karoo runs through the battlefield as they run away from Mr. Two. Karoo is then shot as Vivi begins to sob. Another duck comes to the rescue as Sanji appears. Elsewhere, Usopp finds a wounded Chopper. Mr. Four hits a baseball at Usopp's face, which causes it to explode. Another ball comes towards Usopp as Chopper tells him to run. Miss Merry Christmas then transforms into a mole and burrows underground. Usopp and Chopper struggle against the constant attacks, but Usopp uses the tunnels to bash Mr. Four with a 5-ton hammer. Nevertheless, it's then revealed that Usopp's hammer isn't really 5-ton, but just 2 kilograms. A furious Miss Merry Christmas beats down Usopp. Chopper discovers their weakness as he tells Usopp to get away from the mole. Chopper then points the dog's head into the tunnel, forcing him to fire repeatedly. Since all the tunnels are connected, it causes a massive explosion. The two agents are not defeated though, as they quickly send Usopp flying. The agents then tell them that Luffy is dead, as Chopper transforms into his horn point. Chopper then tosses Miss Merry Christmas into Mr. Four's bat, as he swings away. The two then finish off Mr. Four, as they officially gain the victory. Koza continues pressing forward, as Vivi wants to see Chaka. Meanwhile, Sanji and Mr. Two manage to land significant blows on each other. Mr. Two then transforms his face into Nami's, which immediately makes Sanji lose his composure. At Alubarna, Vivi says that the kingdom of Alabasta is its people, and tells Chaka to destroy the palace. Mr. Two takes the advantage in his fight with Sanji. He looks for the finishing blow, but Sanji sends him flying back. As it turns out, Mr. Two can't perform his attacks while transformed, allowing Sanji to fight back. Mr. Two goes in for an exploding swan, but Sanji dodges. Sanji eventually tricks Mr. Two and performs his inner muscle kick on him. Now knowing Mr. Two's weakness, Sanji finally defeats him. Sanji then extends his hand, thanking Mr. Two for the good fight. While Nami talks to Chaka, Crocodile appears. "This palace is a good place to watch you lose everything." Meanwhile, Nami runs for her life as Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger chase her down. Zoro then comes in to save Nami. Mr. One's body is covered in blades, due to the devil fruit he ate. Zoro faces off against Mr. One as Miss Doublefinger focuses on Nami. Nami wants to fight, but is attacked by Miss Doublefinger, who can grow spikes from any part of her body. Nami pulls out a weapon that Usopp created for her, but it summons 2 pigeons, kinda like a magic show. It then shoots a bouquet of flowers. Miss Doublefinger attacks Nami with a spike ball. It turns out that climb attack can be used for party purposes, and combat purposes, much to Nami's annoyance. Doublefinger shoots Nami through the leg. However, Nami uses a low air pressure barrier to push her adversary back. Doublefinger impales Nami, but it turns out it was just an afterimage. Miss All Sunday uses her powers to prevent the guards from helping King Cobra. Crocodile tells Vivi that Luffy is already dead. Crocodile then asks King Cobra where the Pluton is. Meanwhile, Doublefinger turns her arms into massive spikes as she attacks Nami. Nami then creates a rain cloud by combining hot and cold bubbles together. And by using this rain cloud, she shocks the agent with it. "Be careful of tornado attacks," warns Nami. Doublefinger attacks Nami once more. Nami unleashes her final attack, which looks like a party trick at first, but ultimately finishes off Doublefinger. Crocodile explains that Pluton is an ancient military weapon that has the capability of making a whole island disappear. Crocodile explains that a powerful cannon will aim here in 30 minutes that has a blast diameter of 5 kilometers. Crocodile then asks for the thing that has the true history on it. "I will take you there," says the king. Elsewhere, Zoro begins his battle with Mr. One. The two begin clashing with each other. Despite performing many special moves, Zoro can't seem to damage Mr. One. Mr. One then sends Zoro into a building that crumbles down on top of him. Zoro then recalls a conversation he had with his master. The strongest sword can protect and destroy what it wants. Zoro then lifts up a building and tosses it towards Mr. One. Mr. One disintegrates the building, but Zoro attacks him with a flurry of strikes. After getting knocked down, Mr. One uses Spiraling Blade to gash into Zoro, causing him severe pain. He then performs Disintegrating Splitting Slash. Despite all the injuries, Zoro persists on. "I can hear it. His metal is breathing," says Zoro. He uses Lion Requiem to finish off Mr. One with style. "I give my thanks to you. Now I'm even stronger." Alubarna's special guards come to the king's defense. They attack Crocodile, but he disappears before their eyes. The guards then perish. Chaka attacks Crocodile with fury, revealing that he's a devil fruit user as well. Though Zoro has come out victorious, he collapses to the ground from his wounds. Usopp tells Sanji and Chopper that Luffy is already dead, but Sanji doesn't believe it. Nami then makes her way to the palace to rendezvous with the others. "Being weak is a sin," says Crocodile. We then see a countdown with 25 minutes left on it. Koza arrives at the castle. He finds out that Crocodile was behind all the misfortune that befell Alabasta. Vivi begs for Koza to stop this falsified rebellion. Crocodile attacks, but Chaka intervenes. Koza tells the royal forces that this war is meaningless. Koza raises the white flag, telling everyone to throw away their anger. Koza is then shot. A fake royal guard, who is really a Baroque's Works agent, shot Koza. The fighting between the two forces intensifies. Crocodile grabs Vivi, telling her that only the powerful can bring dreams to reality. "You cannot save this country," says Crocodile as he drops her off the ledge. Just then, she's saved by someone riding on a large falcon. "Crocodile!" screams Luffy. Pell then drops off Luffy in front of the palace. The rest of the Straw Hats then arrive, happy to see Luffy alive. "I'll finish it now. All of it," says Luffy. Luffy whacks Crocodile with extreme fury. "Gomu Gomu Buzzsaw!" Luffy sprays water on himself, declaring that it's Crocodile's weakness. To save the country, Vivi says they have 10 minutes to find the shooter. Crocodile tells Luffy he's one of the 7 gods of the sea. Luffy starts using new techniques against Crocodile, catching him off guard. Luffy then drinks the entire barrel of water. Water Luffy! He then uses Gomu Gomu Rocket Punch. Crocodile then turns everything into desert. He then uses the mass erosion to turn everything into sand. Nico Robin easily defeats the Marines as they refocus their efforts on finding the bomb. Tashiki looks to fight back, but Nico easily disarms her. Meanwhile, Crocodile dehydrates Luffy by grabbing onto his neck. Luffy miraculously recovers from Crocodile's attack. Nico is taken to a hidden room by King Cobra. There, she is to learn the true history. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats continue looking for the bomb. Luffy then asks Tashiki where Crocodile went. She henceforth points him in the right direction. Luffy runs, but eventually collapses from all his wounds. Nico then stares at a huge cube, as there's only 4 minutes left until the bombing. Crocodile arrives as Nico reads the country's history from the cube. She claims that the word Pluto isn't mentioned, angering Crocodile. He thusly ends their 4 years agreement, but Nico tosses a vial of water at him and threatens to pour it on him and cut him with a knife. Crocodile evades and slices her with his hook. Crocodile laughs at Cobra, saying he will die in 3 minutes. Vivi then discovers the location of the bomb as Usopp fires his red star to alert everyone. Luffy wakes up and finds the entrance to the crypt. Luffy enters inside as he meets with an enraged Crocodile. Luffy wants Crocodile to give the country back as he punches him right in the face. Luffy reveals that his own blood is stopping Crocodile's sand. Crocodile then reveals a poisonous element to his hook as the two get ready to square off. Elsewhere, the Straw Hats gather to Usopp's signal as Tashiki and the Marines provide support. Vivi declares that the bomb is inside the clock tower. Meanwhile, Luffy and Crocodile continue their intense battle. Rocks come crumbling down as Crocodile smiles at Luffy. Crocodile then claims that the poison is spreading throughout his body. Zoro and Sanji begin climbing the clock tower, but unfortunately, the clock opens up and Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day come out. The two agents get ready to ignite the cannon. Luffy continues attacking Crocodile with everything he's got. Crocodile reminds him that it's useless, since the poison will kill him eventually. Nami uses Cyclone Tempo to launch Usopp, Chopper, and Vivi into the air. Sanji and Zoro then create an artificial ladder to propel them higher. There are now 7 seconds until the bomb goes off. Crocodile laughs at Luffy's limpless body. Vivi is propelled upwards by Zoro, as Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day attack her. Chopper transforms his body, allowing Vivi to dodge their attack and reach the top. She then proceeds to knock them out. "It's over," announces Crocodile. In a flashback, Vivi tells Chaka and Pell that she's going to the secret base, which turns out to be the clock tower. In real time, Usopp says, "Did it stop?" It turns out that Vivi cut the fuse just in the nick of time. Crocodile then explains that if the shooter failed, then another bomb will go off shortly afterwards. Vivi then tells the others about the bomb. Vivi cries as she yells Crocodile at the top of her lungs. Luffy rises to his feet once more, saying he'll become the king of the pirates. Luffy breaks Crocodile's hook. "I will just exceed you." Pell remembers Vivi's childhood and how he slapped her for being so reckless. Later, Pell lets her ride on his back, even though the king had forbidden this. In the now, Pell tells Vivi how proud of her he is. He then grabs the bomb with his talons and flies upwards. "I will make the enemy of the royal family vanish into nothing," says Pell, as the bomb explodes above the city. The explosive force proceeds to knock everyone down. However, the rebels and the royal army continue battling with each other as if nothing happened. Vivi then begs for everyone to stop fighting. Luffy and Crocodile continue their intensive battle. "I will exceed you!" Crocodile attacks from above, but Luffy inflates himself and launches himself upwards with great momentum and spin. He uses Rubber Sandstorm as Crocodile counters with razor blades. "Fly away from the land of this country!" Crocodile thusly goes flying as Luffy has won the battle. Crocodile then collides into the mausoleum as the Straw Hats cheer on Luffy's victory. Vivi begs for everyone to cease the bloodshed, but no one seems to listen. Rain then falls onto the city as Vivi tells everyone to stop once again. The rain is finally falling again because all the nightmares have ended. King Cobra thusly thanks Luffy for all his hard work. Igaram shows up, revealing that he's not dead. A kid then reveals that the king from earlier was a fake, and in fact, this battle was planned from the beginning. Everyone henceforth puts down their weapons. King Cobra carries Luffy's body to the Straw Hats. Nico Robin stares at her boss as Crocodile is stripped of his title as a pirate god. Cobra then decides that they will reunite through this war. "We will rebuild the Alabasta Kingdom." We are then introduced to the Marine Captain, Black Cage Hina. She calls out Smoker for giving Tashigi preferential treatment. Smoker then tells Hina to take the Baroque work ship to the Marine's base. Vivi looks over at Koza as he recovers from his wounds. The inhabitants celebrate the first rainfall in years. Toto smiles as he thinks about his son. As Vivi and Igagram watch the rainfall, the Straw Hats rest in the palace. Tashigi henceforth meets up with Smoker and apologizes for helping the pirates. Smoker tells Tashigi to stop crying and to become stronger. "I will!" screams Tashigi. The world government wants to cover up the incident in Alubarna and reward Tashigi and Smoker with medals and promotions. However, Smoker tells them to eat shit. The Marines look for the Straw Hats, but the Royal Guard covers them up. "Whoa, I slept very well," says Luffy. Luffy then finds out that he slept for 3 days. The Straw Hats proceed to eat to their heart's content. They then head towards the palace bath to relax and wash up. Cobra bows his heads towards the Straw Hats for all they have done for the country. Igagram and Chaka then find out that Zoro's got a bounty of 60 million belly on him, and Luffy has one for 1 billion belly. Vivi tells Igagram that the Straw Hats have already left. Django and Fullbody are then seen dancing after catching an enemy ship. Meanwhile, Luffy's crew rides through the desert on the duck troops. In a flashback, Luffy talks to Mr. 2 on the snail phone. Mr. 2 says that he took their ship. However, he reminds them that he's their friend and he hangs up. Nami then gives Vivi 12 hours to decide if she wants to join the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats then reach the Going Merry as it's revealed that Mr. 2 protected it from the Marines. Hina then receives a report that they found the Straw Hats ship. Igergram, I want to be a female pirate, says Vivi. Vivi then prepares for a formal ceremony, a coming-to-age ceremony, if you will. Elsewhere, the Straw Hats struggle with the Marines. Luffy is surprised that Django is now a pirate. Black Kachina then makes her entrance onto the battlefield. Mr. 2 warns that they need to escape, but Luffy is staying for Vivi's sake. As Vivi looks over the crowd of people, she announces that she has something to say to her father and Igergram. Luffy and Mr. 2's ships then go in opposite directions, and the Marines deduce that Mr. 2's ship is serving as a decoy, but it turns out to be the opposite. Fooled ya! Mr. 2's crew are masters of disguise as they combat Hina head on. We will never forget you, says Luffy. We then see a flashback of how Vivi and Igergram decide to infiltrate the Baroque works. The ceremony at Alabasta has started, with Vivi delivering her speech. She talks about her travels on the seas, and the people realize that she's talking about the battle with the Marines that was kept secret. However, it turns out that Igergram impersonated Vivi to buy her some time. Vivi then says hi to the Straw Hats and tells them that she's not going. Though she wants to go, she loves her country too much. The Straw Hats sail away as they raise their left arms in solidarity, signifying their friendship with Vivi. Hina finishes up Mr. 2's forces with her arm encompassing an entire man's body. On the phone, she says that Smoker is rather pleased that Luffy escaped her. Toto thinks of Luffy as he says his farewells. Chaka then visits Pell's grave, though for some reason he can't shed a tear, and he finds this a bit strange. Vivi sheds many tears as the Going Merry goes out of sight. She returns as the Alabasta Kingdom would rebuild with great speed. Tashiki sees the new wanted posters for Luffy and Zoro, finding out that the latter killed 100 bounty hunters at Whiskey Point. They will henceforth chase the Straw Hats. On the Going Merry, Nico Robin makes her presence known, and she reveals that she's been here all along. You're really weird. What do you want? Says Luffy. Let me join your crew, replies Nico. In a flashback, Nico states she never planned to give the weapon to Crocodile from the beginning. Nico wanted to learn the true history, and since she couldn't do so, she wanted to die. Luffy, however, saved her life. After a brief interview process, Nico is allowed to join the crew. A large ship then falls from the sky. The log post points upwards, as Nico realizes that it's pointing to a sky island. Nico determines that the ship set sail 208 years ago. Luffy then finds a map for Skypiea. They decide to salvage the ship's rudder, so they henceforth lower themselves into the water. Masira, known as Salvaging King, looks to salvage the ship for himself. Meanwhile, Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro are busy salvaging the ship. Masira starts blowing air to get the ship to float in the water. Masira then jumps in and uses Monkey Punch against a snake. Masira then bursts in as Luffy calls him a monkey. Just then, an enormous sea turtle eats the entire ship. The turtle surfaces as the sky turns into night, which indicates it's a sign for monsters. Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro exit the turtle as Masira gets angry that they stole his treasure. All of a sudden, a gigantic shadow monster appears. After escaping, the Straw Hats kick Masira off their boat. It turns out that Nico stole an eternal pose from Masira's ship, and now it's pointing to Jaya Island. As they travel, a few birds fall from the sky. Jaya is a gathering place for chaotic people, where there is no law. We are then introduced to Roshio the Executioner. Bellamy accuses him of cheating, as he cracks a bottle over his head. Luffy promises Nami that they won't fight anyone in the city. Luffy then eats some apples from a strange doctor, who says that if he chose the wrong one, he'd be dead right now. Turns out he is very lucky. Bellamy's first mate, Big Knife Sarquis, then tells the owner to throw the Straw Hats out. After they leave, Sarquis sees that Luffy has a bounty of 30 million belly on his head. It's gonna take 4 days for the log post to record, so Nami wants to leave in 2 days. Luffy gets into a verbal dispute with another customer as Bellamy walks in looking for the Straw Hat Pirate. Bellamy acts kind to Luffy at first, but eventually smashes his head into the counter. Zoro steps in as Luffy acknowledges that Bellamy is looking for a fight. Unfortunately, because of their vow to Nami, they can't fight back. Nami asks about the Sky Island as everyone laughs at her. Bellamy talks about how people's dreams are stupid as he whacks Luffy once more. Nami then urges Zoro and Luffy to fight back. Bellamy's crew continues embarrassing them. Outside the bar, the man from earlier, who was eating next to Luffy, says that Sky Island does exist. A man's dream will never die. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew is fixing up the ship. The three then hear someone singing salvage over and over again. Nico shows them an X mark that may lead them to someone who could help them. They then encounter the captain of the Shoujo pirate crew. If the Straw Hats wish to pass, they'll have to pay a toll. Shoujo is Masura's brother, and he uses Havoc sonar to attack Luffy's ship. In Mocktown, Bellamy hears about the gold and becomes interested. The Straw Hats reach their destination as they're looking for Cricket. Sanji then reveals he was born in the North Blue. Sanji tells a story of a man named Norland that found an island full of gold. Unfortunately, when the king arrived with his soldiers, there was no gold to be found. Cricket is a descendant of Norland. Luffy falls into the water as Cricket confronts the Straw Hats, thinking that they're after his gold. Cricket fights with Sanji, but eventually collapses for unknown reasons. Chopper explains that he experienced dysparism, which divers typically experience. Masura and Shoujo check up on Cricket, whom they call Boss. Cricket wakes up as Luffy asks him how to get to Sky Island. Cricket says that Norland claimed that the Golden City had fallen under sea from earthquakes. As it turns out, Cricket searched for the gold relentlessly and eventually split off from his crew. Masura and Shoujo believed the story about the gold and became his followers. Norland's book speaks of Sky Island, exciting Luffy and Usopp. The Saruyama Alliance decides to help the Straw Hats in achieving their goal. Cricket then talks about a cloud that blocks out the sun, and it won't produce any precipitation. If the island does exist, it is inside the cloud. He then tells them about the current that shoots upwards. However, knock upstream involves a huge risk. While they take it easy, Nico reads Norland's diary, finding out that the gold exists in the skull's right eye. However, she doesn't know what this means. Meanwhile, Bellamy's ship approaches Cricket's house. Cricket says they need to sail south to reach knock upstream, and to do so, they'll need to catch a special bird. The Straw Hats henceforth look for a south bird. Usopp then finds a poisonous spider that amuses him, but freaks out Sanji and Nami. Zoro tells Nico that he still doesn't trust her. The south bird drops a bee's nest on Luffy and Chopper. Chopper tells Luffy that the bird intends to kill them. The Bellamy pirates then confront the Saruyama Alliance. The bird commands the insects of the forest to attack Luffy and Chopper. In fact, all the Southbirds are making life hell for the Straw Hats. Meanwhile, Bellamy's crew bloodies up Cricket's crew. Bellamy reveals his devil fruit power by turning his legs into springs and launching himself forward. Bellamy's crew looks to leave, but Cricket stands up, still believing in the power of dreams. In the forest, Nico uses her devil fruit ability to knock the Southbird down. The Straw Hats return to Cricket, finding out that the gold was taken and that the Going Merry was ruined in the process. Luffy aims to exact revenge on Bellamy and says he'll be back before dawn. A local drunkard then finds a wanted poster, seeing that Luffy has a bounty of 100 billion belly. Bellamy is told about the bounty on Zoro and Luffy's heads, but he thinks they're all faked. Bellamy then walks outside as someone is calling him, and it turns out to be Luffy on a building. Luffy demands they returns the gold, but Bellamy isn't having any of it. He springs himself onto the building as Luffy tells him that he'll take the gold back himself. Bellamy then looks for the finishing blow by using Spring Jumper. Farewell, Straw Hat Kiddo! But in an instant, Bellamy is defeated by one punch. Sarquist sees the real wanted poster for Luffy with 100 million belly bounty. The gold! Give it back! Luffy retrieves the stolen gold and tells the Bellamy pirates that he's going to the sky. The previous day, Ace introduces himself to Buggy. Ace is the commander of the Whitebeard's 2nd Division, and Whitebeard is the only pirate to fight Pirate King Roger to a standstill. Buggy even ran into Whitebeard in the Grand Line. We then see the Holy Land of Marijois, where the world's government supreme authority, known as the Five Elder Stars, is convening. Don Quixote do Flamingo and Bartholomew Kuma arrive at the meeting. The meeting is called by Fleet Admiral Sengoku to discuss Crocodile's replacement for the Shichibukai. Mihawk decides to attend the meeting as well. A mysterious man then reveals himself, looking to nominate someone for the position of Shichibukai. Somewhere on the Grand Line, we catch a glimpse of the strongest man in the world, the great pirate Whitebeard. Meanwhile, Shanks prepares to meet with Whitebeard himself. Lafitte then proposes that Teach should be considered to the Shichibukai. In Mocktown, we see Teach, who is known as Blackbeard, and the rest of his crew. Luffy returns to the Straw Hats as he marvels at the improvements made to the Going Merry. Luffy then says farewell to Cricket before he departs. After sailing for several hours, the crew spots the Millennium Cumulonimbus. Masura and Shoujo direct the Straw Hats towards the gigantic whirlpool, and tell them to follow the current to the center without resisting. Luffy looks unconcerned as they're swallowed in, as everyone else panics. Once they reach the center, however, the whirlpool disappears. The Blackbeard pirates look to catch them, since Luffy and Zoro have high bounties on their heads. Unfortunately for the Blackbeard pirates, knock upstream destroys their ship as it propels the Going Merry into the sky. Despite some scary moments, Nami helps navigate them upwards towards their destination. Luffy finds it hard to breathe at first, as it looks like they've reached the sky. Blackbeard tells his crew that they will meet the Straw Hats again as long as they stay on the Grand Line. The Straw Hats adjust to their new environment as they take a gander at the scenery. Chopper then spots a pirate ship that is destroyed by an unknown assailant. The assailant then makes his way to the Going Merry. They can't stop him, but luckily, they are saved by the Knight of the Sky. The Knight informs them that they are in the place called the White Sea, which is 7,000 meters above the Blue Sea. The Knight hands him a whistle and instructs them to blow it whenever they need help. The first whistle is free, but it will cost them 5 million Extal for each whistle after that. The Knight bids them farewell as he flies away on his Pegasus. The crew then sails to a place called Heaven's Gate, which leads them to the White Sea. If they want to go up, it will cost 1 billion Extal each. All of a sudden, Speedy Shrimp start taking the Going Merry to the island, as the guard reports to her superior to bestow upon them Heaven's judgment. The Straw Hats see the entrance for Godland Skypiea. It's the Sky Island! The Straw Hats disembark as they explore the island's flora and fauna. An angel informs them that this is Angel's Beach, and shows Luffy how to enjoy the fruit here. A man named Pagaya then comes in and is revealed to be Konis's father. Luffy struggles to control the waver when he rides it, but Nami rides it with relative ease. Pagaya then explains to Zoro that there are 2 types of clouds. Sea clouds that you can sail ships on, and fluffy types that you can walk on, which are called island clouds. Konis then explains dials to the crew, which are shells that record sound and replay it later. There are even wind dials that power the waver that Nami is riding on. Nami then reaches the Holy Land where God lives, a place where no one should enter. Nami looks to turn back, but is approached by an unknown man. The masked man shoots a bazooka into the forest, where 4 other men are. One of the men is then struck by a lightning bolt that the masked man recognizes as Enel's. Nami then eavesdrops on a conversation in which 4 men talk about the 7 trespassers from the Blue Sea, which is referring to the Straw Hats. Just then, the Skypiea police force arrives on Angel's Beach, looking for the illegal trespassers. The White Berets instruct the Straw Hats to pay a fee for trespassing. Nami returns stating that the fee is too damn expensive. The White Berets get violent as Luffy looks to fight back. After taking down the White Berets, the leader states that the priest of the upper yard will judge them. To get back to the Blue Sea, they must head to a place called Cloud End. Nami, Nico, and Chopper look to escape, but a super speedy shrimp catches them and takes them to the upper yard. Pagaya states that they will be sacrifices for God. He shows Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji the way and warns them about the strong priest and God Enel. The 3 proceed to walk through the streets of Angel Island as the citizens avoid them, since they are all criminals. A sobbing Konis then reveals that she was the one that called the Super Express Speed Shrimp. If they don't report a criminal, they'll be taken to the Judgment Ground and killed. A lightning bolt comes crashing down, but the knight from earlier, Gan Fall, rescues Luffy and Konis. Afterwards, the 3 of them prepare to go to Upper Yard. The 3 then make their way to the sacrificial altar. Unfortunately, they face many dangerous obstacles on their way there. They are then faced with a decision of what sort of trial they want to endure. Elsewhere, Zoro, Nami, and Nico leave the ship to Chopper as they explore the area. Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp choose the trial of balls, which drops them from a great height into a forest with gigantic snowballs. They are soon attacked by a snake, but Luffy easily kicks it away. Satori, one of the Skypiea priests, then makes his presence known. Satori knocks them all back easily, and states they're in the Forest of Illusions, and the chance of survival is only 10%. Luffy begins attacking Satori, but he isn't having any luck. Satori then lands a critical hit on Sanji. Now then, 2 to go. Meanwhile, on the Going Merry, Shura sneaks up on Chopper. Ganfall talks about a time that he was God, and how he almost achieved peace with the Shandia. Unfortunately, negotiations broke down when Enel took over as god. Meanwhile, Chopper begs Shura to stop his attack on the Going Merry, as flames spread everywhere. "You must give your life to God," says Shura to Chopper. Ganfall intervenes on Chopper's behalf and begins to fight Shura. The fight then rages on with Ganfall and Shura. In the hidden village, the Shandia warriors plan to take out Ganfall and Enel. Nami then spots the area called Upper Yard and looks quite shocked by it. Meanwhile, Shura impales Ganfall with his spear, upsetting Chopper greatly. Chopper jumps into the White Sea to save Ganfall. Pierre, Ganfall's bird, is then knocked into the sea by Shura. Meanwhile, Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp continue the struggle against Satori. Luffy turns the tables by using the dragon to cause a massive explosion on Satori. Luffy then uses his arms and legs to hold Satori down. With this opportunity, Sanji delivers a powerful kick on Satori's head. Isa states that the voices of Ganfall and one of the priests went silent. Luffy and his crew hop onto the
boat as they travel away from the defeated Satori. Elsewhere, the Shandia begin their invasion of Upper Yard and God. Chopper and Ganfall are still alive, although just barely. Nami, Zoro, and Nico arrive at the house, realizing that it was originally part of Jaya. Jaya had always been floating in the sky, says Nami. Nami's excited to finally reach the Golden City. Luffy's crew then encounters the Shandia warriors. Luffy then uses Gumu Gumu Balloon to deflect a cannonball away. The Shandia then start fighting the priest. The Straw Hats then meet up with each other at the Going Merry. Unfortunately, their mast is missing. They set up camp and discuss what happened to all of them. After the discussion, Luffy decides it's time to find the gold. The Shandia clan is forced to halt their progress since Kamkiri is hurt. Nami then places the maps of Jaya and Sky Island next to each other, revealing that they used to be the same landmass. The part of the island that Norland discovered was knocked into the sky by Knock Upstream. The crew then enjoys the nightlife, as Ganfall refers to the soil as Verth. Elsewhere, the Shandia talk about defeating Enel and returning what was lost to them 400 years ago.
Usopp wakes up in the middle of the night to see someone repairing their ship. The Skypiea priests meet with Enel, who proves to be quite strong. The Straw Hats wake up to find the Going Merry fully repaired. The Straw Hats then split up into two groups, with Luffy's group heading towards the gold, and Nami's group navigating the ship through the island. Luffy's group then encounters a giant python. On the Going Merry, Ganfall shares the history of Skypiea with the Straw Hats, stating that it was a peaceful place prior to the arrival of Upper Yard. The Shandia come from the Upper Yard and were forced out of their land. 6 years ago, Enel appeared out of nowhere, leading a powerful army to defeat the Shandians. After getting attacked by the python, Luffy, Sanji, Chopper, and Nico get separated from one another. In a flashback, Wiper recalls a conversation he had with Ganfall about their lost land. In the now, Wiper says, "I'm gonna cut off Enel's head." Elsewhere, Enel states that after all the fighting, only 5 fighters will be left standing. Wiper confronts Shura and defeats him with Rejectile. Upper Yard survival game. 1 out, 80 fighters remaining. Ganfall explains how the impact dials absorb and store energy from impacts and release it later. Enel doesn't seem concerned that Shura was defeated. The axe dials are introduced and cannot be found anywhere else on Skypiea. Luffy is then ambushed from one of God's army enforcers, but he easily bashes him in the face. Luffy then meets up with Wiper again, as both seem displeased to see each other. We're then given a map of where the various Straw Hat members are situated. Chopper ends up in the middle of a skirmish between God's army and the Shandia forces. Nico takes out a member of God's army for not respecting the ruins. Luffy and Wiper look to square off with each other. Elsewhere, Zoro and Braham begin their battle, acknowledging each other's strength. The battle intensifies between the two. Nevertheless, Zoro manages to use his pound cannon to take out Braham. After defeating the Shandian warriors, Gidatsu takes a look at Chopper, wondering if he's a raccoon. On the Going Merry, Sanji is burnt to a crisp as Enel shows up in front of the Straw Hats. Enel burns Usopp's body to a crisp, just like he did to Sanji. Enel and the priest came to Skypiea to attain the gold from the remains of Shandora. Enel then takes his leave as 2 unknown assailants board the Going Merry. Wiper attacks Luffy with his high-powered bazooka. Luffy tries his best to put up resistance, but Wiper proves to be a worthy foe that has just as much heart as the Straw Hat captain. Luffy then falls into an unknown location. Elsewhere, Yama, command of the divine soldiers under Enel, defeats Genbo. Nico discovers some ancient text, but is approached by Yama from behind. Hotori and Kotori look to battle Nami and Ganfall to avenge their brother, Satori. Gidatsu then approaches Chopper from behind. Gidatsu fires his Swamp Cloud burger at one of his comrades. Chopper then saves the man's life by performing emergency CPR. Gidatsu and Chopper then engage each other. Though Chopper takes some heavy damage, he then transforms into Arm Point to land a powerful blow and defeat his opponent. That's it! I'm a real pirate now! Kamakiri then confronts God Enel. Elsewhere, Ganfall defeats Kotori with his lance. Hotori attacks Nami with his flame dial. Nami turns the tables on him, however, by using fog to disorient him and impact dial to finish him off. Elsewhere, Nico sustains severe damage from Yama. Ganfall and Pierre depart from the Going Merry to find God Enel. Just then, Pagaya, Konis, and Isa meet up with Nami on the Going Merry. Elsewhere, Nico struggles to survive against Yama's attacks. Despite Kamakira's best efforts, Enel manages to defeat him rather easily. With 2 hours past, 56 contestants have fallen. 13 members of God's militia remain, 7 Shandanians remain, and 5 Straw Hats remain. Pagaya lets Nami ride his restored waiver. Elsewhere, Enel sneaks up on a Shandanian warrior and takes him out with relative ease. Now, there's only 24 remaining. Nico smashes Yama into a tree, but grimaces from supporting his massive weight. She then tosses him off of a cliff, and reprimands him for destroying the priceless ruins. Nico proceeds to explore the ruins of Shandora. Chopper runs into Om, one of the 4 priests of God Enel. Kamkiri tells Rocky that God Enel is invincible. Om attacks Chopper through a wall, defeating him with relative ease. Nami stops Isa from running off into the upper yard. Just then, the giant python appears by the Going Merry. Luffy, who is stuck inside the python, starts attacking as he looks for the exit. As Zoro is carried by the Southbird, the giant python nearly bites down on him. Zoro then arrives in the upper ruins as he, Om, Wiper, and Ganfall look to square off. Wiper begins the battle by firing his bazooka. Holy, the dog that Om is riding, takes a swing at Zoro. Ganfall proceeds to attack Om from behind. Meanwhile, Nico makes progress through the Shandian ruins. Zoro gets cut by Iron Cloud as he finds Chopper in a weakened state. Nami and Isa are chased by God's army as they wonder where they are going. Nico is then taken aback by reaching the golden city of Shandora. Konis takes care of Usopp and Sanji inside the Going Merry. Wiper attacks Ganfall with his bazooka blast. Nami arrives on her waiver as Zoro, Wiper, and Ganfall work together to defeat the enforcers. The giant python then swallows Ganfall, Nami, and Isa in one bite. Om and Holy use this opportunity to knock down both Zoro and Wiper. Holy sets off the spike cage trap around everyone on the upper ruins. Rocky arrives outside the cage, telling Wiper that Enel is in the forest and Kamakiri is seriously injured. Enel arrives out of nowhere to strike her with lightning. Enel proceeds to mock Wiper and disappears from the area. The forces inside the trap proceed to fight once more. Luffy then runs into Nami, wondering what she's doing inside this quote-unquote magic cave. Nami clarifies that they're inside the snake's stomach. Wiper tries to get Isa out of the snake's stomach as the python becomes enraged. The battle between Zoro and Om intensifies. Zoro unleashes his 108-pound cannon to cut through Om's Iron Cloud and cut him down for good. Nico is then shocked to find the poneglyphs here. The Golden City Shandora was destroyed after fighting to protect the poneglyphs. God then sneaks up on Nico, stating that he took the gold. After the game is over, Enel plans on looking for the Golden Bell. One of Enel's soldiers tells Pagaya and Konis that Enel plans on wiping out all the citizens of the sky. Enel strikes him with lightning as Pagaya pushes his daughter out of the way. He then obliterates the upper ruins with a powerful lightning strike. "Let's orchestrate the final act together," yells Enel. Nami and everyone else inside the snake uses this opportunity to escape. However, Luffy and Isa still remain inside. The snake begins to cry as Enel strikes it with lightning. With 6 survivors, there's still one person that needs to be taken out of the game. Nico, Zoro, Wiper, and Ganfall all decide together that it will be Enel who goes down. A flashback shows Ganfall struggling over how to handle the situation with the Shandians. In the now, Ganfall angrily tells Enel that this world does not need a god. He lunges forward, but Enel easily dodges. 30 million volts, says Enel. With 5 survivors left, everyone will travel with Enel to the fairy Verth. Nico tells him that if he destroys his country, the thing he wants will also fall. Annoyed by her defiance, he proceeds to strike her down. Zoro catches Nico, reminding Enel that she's a woman. Zoro and Wiper proceed to attack Enel with no effect. Enel proceeds to shock Zoro down to the ground. Wiper jumps onto Enel and uses Rejectile, which could potentially kill him in the process. In a flashback, Wiper, Genbo, Kamakiri, and Braham learn about how the Upper Yard is their homeland, and how the proud flame of Shandora shall never be put out. In the now, Wiper stands over an unconscious Enel, giving everyone hope. Unfortunately, Enel restarts his own heart with a strike of lightning. Wiper's will is unbroken, but his body is in shambles. Enel unleashes Thunderbird on Wiper and Thunder Beast on Zoro. Nevertheless, Wiper stands up for his ancestors' sake, despite his body being burnt to a crisp. "God's judgment," yells Enel. With everyone defeated, Nami decides to go with Enel to spare her own life. Conus arrives on Angel Island, where she's immediately pursued by the White Berets. Enel then takes Nami to his massive ship, the Ark Maxim. Meanwhile, Luffy, Isa, and Pierre finally escape from the giant python. Luffy's excitement quickly subsides, however, when he finds his fallen comrades. Nico warns Luffy that Enel will destroy all of Skypiea. Isa hears the two voices of Nami and Enel as Luffy tells her to take him to their location. Nami thinks about how Enel is too dangerous and thinks about a way in which she can escape. Conus attempts to warn everyone about God Enel and his plans to destroy the country, but it falls on deaf ears. Luffy then makes his way to Enel and says, "What did you do to my friends?" Conus finally manages to convince everyone to begin the evacuation. Luffy tells Enel that he doesn't look like a god. Enel then uses God's judgment on him. Yet, Luffy remains unaffected by the blast. Enel attempts several more attacks, but Luffy withstands them all and punches Enel straight in the gut. With Luffy being a rubber man, lightning has no effect on him, making him immune to Enel's attacks. Nevertheless, Enel uses his mantra to predict Luffy's attacks and catches him with his staff. Enel transforms his staff into a trident and ends up damaging Luffy with it. He then uses his power to make his massive ship float in the air. Luffy tells Enel that he'll become the Pirate King, who is the king of the sea. Enel states that doesn't sound half bad. He activates Death Paella, which produces clouds that emit thunders 10 times stronger than his attacks. One of the thunderbolts then strikes near Angel Island. Enel continues his attacks, as Luffy wonders how he'll get around his predictive abilities. Luffy starts punching and kicking the throne as they're repelled backwards into Enel. The false god is then unable to dodge Luffy's Gumu Gumu bazooka and rifle. Undeterred, Enel stands up and states that he is the almighty god. Enel traps Luffy's hand with the golden ball and manages to toss him off of the ship. Isa tries to save him with Pierre, but Enel uses God's judgment to make sure that this doesn't happen. Conus then notices that Usopp and Sanji are missing from the Going Merry, as they are seen climbing up the Ark Maxim. Sanji tells Usopp not to wimp out, as he thinks about saving Nami. Enel states that it was unwise for Nami to give up on the lifeline that she had been holding on to. He then attacks her as she manages to dodge. Robin is then seen moving Zoro with her Devil Fruit powers. The various citizens of Skypiea are then seen evacuating. Luffy lifts up the gigantic golden ball as he prepares to head off Enel at the Golden Bell. Usopp attacks Enel from behind, but it's ineffective. After getting attacked by Enel, Usopp begs for Nami to save him. He eventually gathers up some courage to take on Enel, but is taken down rather easily. Sanji then creates a distraction for Nami and Usopp to escape the ship. Enel then realizes that Sanji sabotaged his ship. Usopp returns for Sanji as they successfully make their escape. Despite his ship being damaged, Enel remarks that the destruction of Skypiea is inevitable. Luffy makes his ascent towards the Golden Bell as the rest of the Straw Hats reunite. "The party has officially started. Thunderstorm," says Enel. The lightning continues destroying the land as the citizens attempt to escape. Wiper then recalls a story of how his ancestor Kalgara had a true friend, and he was none other than Noland. A flashback shows how ruthless the great warrior Kalgara really was. During this time, Nolan was a great admiral who killed a sea king to feed his starving crew. Nolan is drawn to the island of Jaya by a ringing bell. As soon as he enters the island, he finds out that the inhabitants are suffering from a tree fever epidemic. The people look to sacrifice a beautiful maiden to save the rest of the village. Lord Kashi, a great python, then emerges. Nolan intervenes by slicing off the snake's head. Kalgara then stares down Nolan with extreme rage. As retribution for killing their god, Kalgara thrusts his spear at Noland. The girl attempts to commit suicide, but Nolan prevents her from doing so. With this opportunity, Kalgara impales Nolan through the chest. Nolan proceeds to castigate the natives for their vile ritual. Nolan is then given until tomorrow evening to find a cure. Until then, however, his crew is detained. An earthquake ravages the village, as Kalgara takes pleasure in seeing Nolan stuck between a crevice. The natives look ready to execute Nolan's men, even though he hasn't run out of time yet. Meanwhile, Nolan's body is getting crushed by the land. He then tells Kalgara that what his people were attempting to do with the sacrifice was beneath humans. Kalgara informs Nolan that the girl they were attempting to sacrifice was actually his own daughter. Lord Kashi's child confronts them, but Kalgara takes him down. "Can you really save my dear village? Can the village really be saved?" cries Kalgara. "Yes," responds Nolan. Afterwards, Nolan saves the village as everyone celebrates the apparent miracle. Kalgara takes Nolan to the golden city of Shandora. Nolan, obviously, is at a loss for words for what he's seeing. Kalgara clarifies that it's not the gold they've guarded, but the stone passed down through their ancestors. Kalgara says that their bell is called the Light of Shandora. The two men continue to bond throughout their stay. A month later, however, the natives express their distrust for Nolan and his group. Kalgara then states that he never wants to see Nolan's face ever again. Nolan tells him that his men will depart in 3 days. However, Nolan doesn't want to leave on such disappointing terms, but Kalgara makes his intentions quite clear. Kalgara then sits amongst a multitude of tree stumps, blaming Nolan for cutting them down. Nolan then discovers that Kalgara's people believe that their ancestors reside within the trees. Kalgara's daughter explains that it was the trees that were making them sick, and to stop the contamination, Nolan's crew had to cut them down. Realizing the errors of their ways, the Shandians ring the bell as Kalgara screams that he will wait for Nolan's return. Nolan regales the king of Livneal about his tales of the Golden City. 5 years later, Nolan returns to Jaya with the king. Unfortunately, the city of gold he once saw no longer exists. Due to his quote-unquote great lies, Nolan was given a public execution and called a liar. 1 year before Nolan's visit, however, Nak upstream jettisoned Shandora into Skypiea. The current god, Nola, wanted to make this land his kingdom and instructed his men to drag out the inhabitants. A war henceforth broke out between the Sky People and the Shandians. The Golden Bell was never rung again after that. Kalgara died on the battlefield as a young Wiper wonders if the bell would still reach Nolan if they rung it. Anel, what gives you the right to steal everything? Says Wiper. Anel says that the Shandians will return to the Blue Sea from whence they came. The destruction continues as McKinley of the White Berets wonders about Konus' safety. A hole is punctured through the white seas as people begin to fall through it. There is only one thing left I want in this country, and that is the giant golden bell. I won't let you have that golden bell no matter what, Anel, yells Luffy. Anel reaches the top of the giant beanstalk, but doesn't see the golden bell. Anel strikes down the top of the beanstalk, sending Luffy plunging down. The Straw Hat Captain does manage to hang onto the beanstalk with his left hand, but is now in a precarious position. Luffy thinks of how he'll get up to Anel's ship, but is then run over by Nami's waver. A massive, spherical, dark cloud appears above the Angel Island, terrifying all the inhabitants. In a blinding flash, the entire island is decimated in an instant. The island they were born on was now gone without a trace. Even the sea clouds are completely gone. Nami wants Luffy to escape with her, but the Straw Hat Captain has unfinished business with Anel. The City of Gold. It was up here all along. So I'm gonna stay up here and ring the golden bell. Luffy attempts to board the Arc Maxim, but Enel does not allow this to happen. I will return everything to its rightful place. This is my duty as God. Luffy desperately wants to ring the bell for Cricket's sake. The citizens realize that they won't be able to reach Cloud End with all the destruction that is going on. Just then, Enel finally arrives at the Golden Bell's location and states he will ascend to Fairy Verse as God. Luffy and Nami write a message on a leaf to cut down the beanstalk westward. Enel produces yet another dark sphere, with this one being several times larger than the last one. Nami says she'll take Luffy to the bell, but wants him to keep her safe. The Straw Hats and Wiper both agree to work together in cutting down the giant stalk. Zoro manages to cut half of the beanstalk, yet it doesn't fall down. Enel proceeds to shock him for this transgression. Nola, the snake, has the memory of ringing the bell with Kalgara. In the now, Nola smashes her head against the beanstalk, but it still wasn't enough to knock it down. Wiper uses his rejectile on the stalk, which proves to be the final push it needed to be knocked down. Usopp cheers Luffy on as a thunderstorm impedes the path of the Straw Hats. Despite all the destruction, Wiper states that Shandora will never crumble under the wickedness of Enel. Give back the golden bell! Screams Luffy. Enel uses Advent of Thunder to try to finish him off. Through Luffy's grit and determination, he manages to disperse the thundercloud, much to the surprise of Enel. Wiper begs for Luffy to relight the light of Shandora, as Ganfall wants to hear the song of the island. Now on the same level as Enel, Luffy looks happy to knock him down, and uses 200 million volts to fend him off, as he gashes Luffy in the side with his trident. Undeterred, Luffy twists the arm with the golden ball. He then unwinds it and fires Gold Pistol at Enel, hitting his target square on. The bell rings as Luffy screams, "The Golden City has always been here in the sky." The Straw Hats and Ganfall all marvel at the sound of the bell. The people of Skypiea also marvel at the beautiful sound. On Jaya Island, Cricket remarks that the sound of the bell is proof that the Golden City must truly exist. A giant shadow of Luffy is seen celebrating above the island as the Saruyama Alliance smiles on. Gargamel then sinks into the clouds along with his airship. Blessings and hopes is spread to the corners of the world. Luffy and Nami return to the Straw Hats as Pagaya returns to his crying daughter. Enel proceeds to ride Maxim to the land that glows in the darkened sky, i.e. the moon. The people of the sky and the Shandians do not desire any further war, as they celebrate the end of the 400 years war between them. "Party!" yells Luffy with excitement. Luffy then tells the Straw Hats that they should steal all the gold and run away. The next day, Luffy, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper start grabbing various treasures for themselves. The Shandians discover a poneglyph within the bell, so Robin walks up and starts investigating it. The ancient weapon with the power so strong that it was named after the god Poseidon. Robin then reads another text. "We came here, found the text, and followed its guidance. Signed, Gold D. Roger." Robin determines that by connecting the poneglyphs, they'll be able to fill in the blank history for the first time. This means that she must make it to Raftel to decode the entire message. Luffy arrives with a sack full of golden treasure. The Straw Hats proceed to run away as the Shandians were just about to give them more gold as a thank you gift. While Wiper recovers from his wounds, he promises Kalgara that the light of Shandora will never die again. The Shandian chief asks for Ganfall to be the god of Skypiea once again, as he reluctantly accepts. The Straw Hats start feeling a little nostalgic as they get ready to leave. Nonetheless, they're excited to finally go back to the Blue Seas. They then take an octopus balloon back down to the Blue Seas. As a final thank you, the inhabitants ring the bell once more. Every time I look at the sky, I think of that fairyland hiding in the clouds. 10,000 meters above the ground, the beautiful song of the bell resonates endlessly. It rings today. It will ring for days to come. That golden bell of that lost land will forever sing of the pride of its people. Cricket asks the Saruyama pirates what their next dream will be. Elsewhere, Don Quixote punishes Bellamy for losing to the Straw Hat Pirates. He then says all the worthless trash will vanish in this new age of pirates. Luffy's crew then lands into the Blue Sea. With the vast treasure, Nami wants to repair the Going Merry. Luffy now wants to find a crew member that can repair ships. We then see Admiral Aokiji riding a bicycle on the ocean. The Going Merry safely avoids a tidal wave as they watch another ship go under. The Straw Hats arrive on a grassy plain where the animals are very long. Luffy attacks some bamboo as an old man falls down onto the ground. The Foxy Pirates then confront Zoro, Nico, Sanji, and Nami. The old man introduces himself as Tanjit. He explains that everyone is long because everyone feels free on this island. Tanjit is a nomad and lives in a ring-shaped island that often gets covered by the ocean. While Tanjit rides his horse, Sherry, she is shot by Foxy. Foxy then challenges Luffy to a Davy back fight. The victor of each game may pick one crew member from the losing crew. The Straw Hats are shocked and intrigued that Luffy accepted the terms of this duel. Nico explains that Davy Jones takes all the treasure that lands on the bottom of the seafloor. Round 1 will be a donut race. Round 2 will be a groggy ring. And round 3 will be combat. The Straw Hats and the Foxy Pirates then begin their race around the island. The Foxy Pirates on the shoreline start attacking the Straw Hats. Usopp then uses an impact dial to race past the Foxy Pirates. As the Straw Hats reach the long coral area, Foxy gets a naughty idea. He uses a white smoke attack to obscure their vision. The Straw Hats make their way through nonetheless, and approach the long whirlpool. Despite Foxy's multitude of tricks, the Straw Hats see through them all. Portia the Foxy Pirates then fling several rose-shaped shuriken at the Straw Hat boat. The Straw Hats push on nonetheless, but Foxy uses his Devil Fruit power, Noro Noro Beam, to stop them. This allows the Cutie Wagon to cross the finish line first, giving Foxy's team the victory. It turns out that the Noro Photon slows down anything it hits, which is what Foxy did to the Straw Hats. Foxy then takes Chopper from the Straw Hats. The second round is ready to commence, with Zoro choosing Sanji to be the ball for the game. They then meet their gigantic opponents for Groggy Ball. Zoro and Sanji compete against the undefeated Groggy Monsters. Sanji notices that Big Pan's arm is slippery. Hambog grabs onto Sanji as the Foxy Pirates urge him to slam dunk him. Zoro chucks Pickles towards Hambog, making the two collide as Sanji escapes. The Groggy Monsters then begin cheating by using weapons, but the biased referee looks the other way. The Groggy Monsters proceed to have their way with the two. Just then, the two battered Straw Hats decide to finally work with each other. The Foxy Pirates initiate Monster Burger. Nevertheless, Zoro and Sanji defeat Hambog and Pickles. Sanji serves Big Pan to Zoro and the swordsman scores, shocking Foxy. With the Straw Hats gaining the victory, Luffy brings Chopper back to the crew. It is now time for the battle round, in which the two captains, Foxy and Luffy, will square off. Luffy hits center stage as he's seen wearing an afro. Luffy throws his Gomu Gomu pistol, but Foxy counters with Noro Noro beam. It turns out anything caught in the beam slows down for 30 seconds. Foxy stands on a cannonball as Luffy attempts to do the same thing, but the 30 seconds have already expired. Foxy shoots miniature versions of his head at Luffy as he punches him with a spike glove. The Foxy face bomb then explodes in front of Luffy. Luffy and Foxy continue trading blows with each other. Foxy hides from Luffy, but the Straw Hat Captain sees an open door. Nami tries to warn him, but he doesn't listen. Luffy uses a cannon, causing Foxy to fall on several blades. Luffy is then tricked by Foxy and attacked by Fox Blow. Foxy then pulls a lever, telling Luffy that something horrible awaits him on the other side. Foxy unveils the Gorilla Puncher 13. After an intensive exchange, Foxy emerges from the ship, with Luffy badly beaten. Luffy manages to stand up, and withstands Foxy's next attack. No matter how much damage he endures, Luffy will fight to the death. During the fight, Foxy attempts to slow down Luffy with his Noro Noro beam, but Luffy reflects it off of a mirror. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu Flail, which earns him the victory after a count of 10. The winner is Luffy! Foxy then goes flying as his crewmates watch on. The Straw Hats proceed to celebrate Luffy's victory. Luffy wakes up sometime later as Zoro tells him that he won the battle. Foxy offers a handshake, but he wanted to enact his vengeance. It didn't work, however. Luffy doesn't want any of the crew members as a prize. Instead, he wants his flag. He then redraws the Foxy Pirates a new Jolly Roger, which upsets them. The Straw Hats then return to Tanjit. They are then greeted by Admiral Akiji. He tells Robin that she's grown into a fine woman. Nico explains that there are only 3 admirals in the Marines: Akainu, Akiji, and Kiziru. Their only superior is Sengoku, the commander-in-chief. Aokiji wants to help Tanjit get home. He then reveals his devil fruit power by freezing the sea and the Sea King so that Tanjit can pass. Tanjit then says his farewells. Aokiji says that Luffy is just like his grandpa, and that they all should just die right here. Aokiji says that every group that Robin associates with ends up getting annihilated, provoking her to attack him. Aokiji looks to return the favor, but Zoro and Sanji intervene. Luffy punches him, but gets his arm frozen in the process. Aokiji then freezes Nico completely. He looks to smash her, but the Straw Hats protect her. Usopp and Chopper take her back to the ship, as Luffy confronts Aokiji for a battle to the death. Usopp and Chopper thaw Robin's body on the ship. Though Luffy tries his best, Aokiji freezes his entire body. Aokiji warns Luffy about Nico, as he decides to spare his life. Aokiji will now head to Water 7. Luffy is returned to the Going Merry, as his and Nico's hearts start beating again. The Straw Hats then discover a lighthouse in the distance. A large train passes by, narrowly hitting them in the process. At the lighthouse, they meet Kokoro and her granddaughter, Chimney. The train is called Puffing Tom, and it travels on the water via a railway track. The log pose is now pointing to Water 7, nicknamed the City of Water. It turns out that Luffy wants to find a carpenter at Water 7. Kokoro gives the Straw Hats a letter of recommendation for the iceberg. The Straw Hats arrive at Water 7. Luffy, Usopp, and Nami take the letter with them, and some gold as well, so they can exchange it for some money. We then meet the fearsome Galley Log Company, a prominent company of shipwrights. Luffy, Nami, and Usopp explore the city as Robin and Chopper shop in the city. Zoro, who's guarding the ship, is attacked by a mysterious assailant. Zoro easily defeats the Frankly family. Robin then passes a tall masked man who whispers CP9. Luffy and the crew receive 300 million berry for the gold that they exchanged. The Straw Hats hand the letter of recommendation to Kaku and find out that Iceberg is the mayor of Water 7. Kaku proceeds to jump off of a cliff to check the condition of the Straw Hats' boat. Kaku starts evaluating the ship as Zoro freaks out. Luffy says that Iceberg is not a model mayor, causing Khalifa, Iceberg's secretary, to throw kicks at him. The members of the Frankly family steal the Straw Hats' money. Polly of the Galley Log Company stops the Frankie family, but runs off with the money. Polly eventually gives the money back to Luffy. Lucci and Polly then get in a brief scuffle, but this is normal for them. It turns out that Lucci is a ventriloquist that only talks through his bird, Hattori. The Straw Hats are then shown Deck 1, where the best carpenters of the Galila Company reside. Kaku reports that the Going Merry cannot be fixed, and their probability of reaching the next island is 0%. It turns out that the keel is severely damaged and cannot be repaired. The keel is the part of the boat that is on the bottom. It serves as the base. At this point, the whole ship needs to be scrapped. Iceberg implores them to buy a new ship, but Luffy is resistant to this idea, stating that the Going Merry is their ship. Corgi of the world government then wishes to talk to Iceberg, but the mayor tells him to go away. Luffy and Nami then discover that the money is gone. They find out that Usopp was kidnapped by the Frankies. Nami finds Usopp badly beaten as he apologizes for losing the money. Usopp arrives at the Frankie house, ready to retrieve the money that was stolen. He begs for it back, but gets beaten in the process. Nami guards the ship as Zoro, Sanji, and Chopper look for Usopp. Luffy joins up with them as they find Usopp in critical condition. The four then head for the Frankie house. One of the members is sent flying by the Straw Hats. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu Bazooka to break through the super armor. All four proceed to pulverize the Frankie family. They want to go after Frankie, but decide it's best to return to the Going Merry since Nami is all by herself. Luffy then says, "It's time to say goodbye to the Going Merry." Corgi leaves after failing to get what he wanted from Iceberg. It turns out that Iceberg has Robin's bounty posted in his room. Luffy tells everyone that he wants to change ships. Usopp doesn't like this idea, so he proceeds to argue with Luffy as the two get in a shouting match. Usopp wants to fix the ship, but Luffy reminds him that he's not a carpenter. The two argue some more as Luffy tells him to leave. Sanji proceeds to kick Luffy and tells him to calm down. Since the two have misaligned interest, Usopp decides to leave. However, he challenges Luffy to a duel. Nami attempts to convince Luffy not to fight Usopp. With everything going on, she feels like the group is falling apart. At 10, Luffy and Usopp will meet for their duel. Usopp uses a flash style to disorient Luffy. Luffy then falls into Caltrop Hell. After spreading some gas, Usopp ignites it with fire, causing a massive explosion. With water dripping from the Going Merry, it looks like the ship itself is crying. Luffy eventually gains the upper hand, finishing off Usopp with Gomu Gomu Bullet. "There's no way that you'll win," says Luffy. Luffy gives the Going Merry to Usopp and says that he'll find a new ship. They prepare to clear the ship as Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper are seen crying. We then find out that Iceberg was shot 5 times while in his home. Because Iceberg is considered a great hero, this is quite the travesty. Luffy and Nami decide to check in on Iceberg as Sanji and Chopper look for Robin. The only thing that the police found in Iceberg's house was a simple mask. Frankie finds out that the Straw Hats destroyed his house. He then decides to seek out the Straw Hats. It turns out that Aqua Laguna will submerge Water 7 at midnight. But this happens every year, so the townsfolk don't seem too worried. Music starts playing as we see Frankie on the stage. He then stares down at Luffy, with a crazed look in his eyes. Iceberg regains consciousness, claiming 2 people attacked him, and that one of them was probably Robin. Frankie breathes fire at Luffy. They speculate that he's a devil fruit user, but Frankie proves them wrong by demonstrating his ability to swim. Because of Nico's involvement with Iceberg, the Straw Hats are blamed for the incident. Iceberg suspects they're after the quote-unquote thing, and they may have teamed up with the world government. Frankie and Luffy continue fighting as the Galila Company confronts them. The Straw Hats are blamed for the attack on Iceberg. The Galila Company starts attacking Luffy, as Frankie gets frustrated that they're attacking his enemy. Polly accuses the Straw Hats of shooting Iceberg. They accuse Robin of being the culprit, but Luffy vehemently denies this. News spreads that the Straw Hats were responsible, as we see Robin observing the incident from a distance. Polly attempts to restrain Luffy, as Nami is already captured. The Galila shipwrights team up with Luffy, giving him everything he can handle. Furious that they stole his prey, Frankie uses coup de vent on the shipwrights. Dock 1 is ruined from the blast. Using the commotion, Luffy and Nami decide to escape to get to Iceberg. Luffy then invades Galila's headquarters. Khalifa helps Luffy reach Iceberg as she covers for him. Iceberg points a gun at Luffy and says he wants to meet with Nico one more time. Luffy returns to Nami, stating he doesn't believe that Robin shot Iceberg. Frankie quote-unquote drinks some cola, stating that it's fuel for him. Kokoro arrives and starts talking to Frankie about Iceberg. It turns out that the crimes in the dark are done by CP9. Nico is then seen talking to an unknown person. The person states that Tom had quote-unquote it, and he most likely gave it to Iceberg. Robin is then ordered to retrieve quote-unquote it. Citizens then prepare for Aqua Laguna. Zoro finds out he's an associate of the assassin, and that's why he's getting chased. Citizens then board the Going Merry as Usopp wonders what's going on. Sanji and Chopper finally meet up with Robin. Robin claims that she's shrouded in darkness and says that the Straw Hats will serve as their scapegoats. They call out for her, but she leaves in a cold fashion. Chopper leaves Sanji to tell Luffy, Zoro, and Nami what Robin just said. Zoro says they need to determine if Robin is friend or foe. The Straw Hats determine that Robin is going to attempt to assassinate Iceberg again, prompting them to catch Robin in the act. Usopp then procures some materials as he aims to stay on the Going Merry as the tide rises. Frankie is ready to go berserk again as he begins his chase of Luffy. Outside Iceberg's mansion, the Galula Company keeps a tight guard over any potential intruders. Iceberg claims that Robin is a devil. Frankie then decides that he wants to use Usopp as bait so he can lure in the Straw Hats. Iceberg entrusts Polly in taking care of a dangerous task. Polly goes to a secret safe to open it up. Robin and the unknown assailant proceed with their plan. The assault begins, with Luffy disappearing from the others. Polly then looks at the secret documents as two masked men appear behind him. One of the CP9 members jumps around in midair. The two CP9 members who confront Polly have already taken out the shipwrights. A bear masked member uses his devil fruit power to turn a wall into a door, allowing him and Nico to confront Iceberg. Once Robin receives a signal that they got the blueprint, she is to kill Iceberg. The Straw Hats enter the premises, but still see all the citizens guarding the residence. The barefaced CP9 member takes care of the shipwrights as Zoro, Nami, and Chopper fight through the crowd. Iceberg pulls a gun on Robin, saying he wants to kill her before she destroys the world. It turns out only Robin can decipher the poneglyphs and resurrect the ancient weapons. Iceberg holds the blueprints for Pluton, and it was constructed on Water 7 long ago. Nico restrains Iceberg with her ability, as the other members find out that Polly had the fake plans. Luffy comes crashing into the wall and gets stuck. A CP9 member traps Luffy to the floor as they leave the area. Polly urges Luffy to fight besides him against the CP9. The CP9 members reveal themselves to Iceberg, and they are the four members of the Galula Company: Lucci, Kaku, Khalifa, and Bluno. They concealed their identities for 5 years. Lucci says the world government wants to revive the ancient weapons to put an end to the period of pirates. Information about Tom is sparse, but he had 2 disciples, one being Iceberg. Lucci determines that the other one is none other than Frankie. Just then, Luffy and Polly burst through the wall. The CP9 members have mastered Robushiki, making their strength equivalent to 100 men. Lucci performs his techniques on Luffy. The other Straw Hats enter as Robin states that she needs to achieve a goal she could not achieve with them. Lucci says that fire will engulf the mansion in 2 minutes. Luffy attempts to get through the CP9 to reach Robin, but he isn't having any luck. Kaku informs Zoro that his inspection of the Going Merry was still accurate. Robin says that they will never meet again. Kaku takes down Zoro as Lucci takes down Luffy. Lucci attributes their success to Rokushiki and says that lowly pirates have no chance. Flames engulf the mansion as Lucci transforms into a monstrous leopard. Lucci ate a Zune devil fruit, which makes him stronger the more he trains. Amidst the crumbling building, Luffy punches Lucci in the face. Lucci counters and proceeds to batter him. Zoro is then sent flying out of the building. Nami passes out after suffering an injury. Iceberg and Polly are left for dead as CP9 plans to confront Frankie. After defeating members of the Frankie family, CP9 discovers Frankie's location. Frankie makes amends with Usopp and asks him to join the Frankie family. Frankie explains Aqua Laguna and how the town is sinking. It turns out that Tom made a sea train. Frankie confirms that the Going Merry is beyond repair and offers to take it apart for him. Frankie says that the Going Merry is no longer a ship as he begins dismantling it. Usopp is sent below the water's surface as he sees the truth for himself. Despite resistance, Usopp admits to knowing the Going Merry couldn't travel anymore. Frankie says that Usopp saw a Klabauterman, an incarnation of the ship that warns of when the ship is in danger. Just then, the CP9 agents interrupt the conversation. Frankie fights them off, but is knocked back. Lucci reveals that Iceberg is dead. Lucci then knocks him through a wall, revealing a drafting room. We then see a photo of Tom, Frankie, Iceberg, and Kokoro. Lucci becomes impatient, so Khalifa binds Frankie in a thorned whip. Lucci claims that Tom was a criminal, but Frankie angrily barks back at him. We then go back 22 years. Cuddy Flam, Frankie, is seen escaping a sea monster. We then see Tom and his sumo frog, Yokozuna. Kokoro is Tom's secretary. Tom is then seen drawing plans for the Water 7's revival. Later on, Tom is sentenced to Enies Lobby for building Oro Jackson, Goldie Roger's ship. Tom then explains that a sea train could connect Enies Lobby and could serve as Water 7's hope. His execution is postponed for 10 years so he can finish the sea train. We then see the construction of the sea train itself. 10 years have passed, and the Puffing Tom made its maiden voyage. Iceberg berates Frankie for leaving dangerous battleships lying around. Spandam of the CP5 is seen getting the approval to obtain the blueprints, and there will be no acquittal for Tom. Tom then shows Frankie and Iceberg the blueprints for Pluton. He then hands them a wanted poster for Nico Robin. On the day of the trial, it is presumed that Tom will be found innocent. Unfortunately, there's an attack by Frankie's battleship. Everyone panics as Spandam watches on with glee. The assailants on Frankie's ship escape before being discovered. The battle Frankies burst into flames. Iceberg henceforth blames Frankie for leaving his battleships lying around. "There's no way I'll ever forgive you, Frankie!" The three are then brought before the judge by Spandam. Frankie blames Spandam for the incident, but everyone just laughs at him. Tom breaks out of his cuffs and says, "When a man's made a ship, he makes it a part of himself with a Don." Tom manages to get the charges against Iceberg and Frankie dropped. Tom is pleased he saved the town as he collapses to the ground. Frankie smacks Spandam in the face with intense fury. Determined to still learn from Tom, Frankie attempts to stop the sea train in its tracks. The train throws him into the air as he dreams about building a dream ship one day. 4 years later, Frankie tells Iceberg he repaired his body with scrap metal. Iceberg won't hand over the blueprint to the government, even if his life depends upon it. "I'm glad that you're alive," says Iceberg to Frankie. In the now, Commander-in-Chief Spandam calls Frankie and awaits his arrival at Enies Lobby. Chopper saves Iceberg and Polly from the burning building. CP9 are going to take Frankie and Usopp to Enies Lobby. Kaku then releases the Going Merry into the sea, despite Usopp's pleas. In a flashback, Nico reveals that CP9 was given permission to use a buster call, which summons 5 Vice Admirals and 10 warships, and they were going to be used against the Straw Hats. So, Nico is thusly sacrificing herself for the Straw Hats. Nami is relieved that Nico didn't betray them. Sanji is then seen at the Blue Station, waiting to go to Enies Lobby. CP9 boards the train, with Usopp in hand. Because of Aqua Laguna, Nami needs to somehow board the sea train that leaves in 30 minutes. Polly tells the townsfolk that the Straw Hats are not the assassins. Nami then makes her way towards Blue Station. As the townsfolk look for Luffy and Zoro, we see the former between some wood as the latter is stuck in a chimney. At the train station, Nami pleads with Robin to get off of the train. Although she's unsuccessful, she's determined to follow her. Unfortunately, Aqua Laguna's wave velocity is abnormal. We then see Sanji hanging on to the outside of the train. Sanji boards the train as multiple guns are pointed at him. He then defeats Jerry of CP6 with Brochetti. As it turns out, each car on the train has its own representative. Nami returns to Water 7 to look for Luffy and Zoro. The tide recedes as the base structures of Water 7 are revealed. Chimney then points out Luffy to Nami. Nami reaches Luffy and states Robin sacrificed herself for the crew. Chopper helps Zoro as Aqua Laguna creates a terrifying wave over the city. The 4 Straw Hats make their way to the bridge, but Aqua Laguna begins to crush the bridge. Polly saves the 4 Straw Hats from being consumed by the Aqua Laguna. Without Puffing Tom, it's too dangerous to sail the seas right now. Nami mentions Impelled Down, the great prison of the Deep Blue, which is where Robin will most likely end up if they do nothing. Despite Aqua Laguna and the prospect of fighting the world government, Luffy is undeterred. Kokoro then offers to take them to the sea train. Spandam has Nico and Frankie, both of whom are capable of resurrecting the ancient weapon. Sanji defeats more enemies as he reaches Usopp and Frankie. Kokoro shows the Straw Hats Rocket Man. a sea train that was created by Tom and fixed up by Iceberg. The Frankies and the Galula shipwrights offer to help the Straw Hats in their cause. Rocket Man takes off as it latches onto the rails. Because everyone has the same enemy, the Frankies, the Galula shipwrights, and the Straw Hats put aside their differences and become allies. Marine Captain T-Bone finds out what happened on the other train cars. Meanwhile, Sanji attempts to contact Nami. Luffy and Zoro combine their efforts to punch their way through Aqua Laguna. Sanji calls the crew and says he's going to save Robin. Frankie offers to lend a hand. Usopp claims it's not his duty to save Robin after what happened between them.
Soja King then introduces himself to Sanji and Frankie
and offers to help them in saving Robin. The three go over the plan to save Robin. Nami states that Usopp improved her climb attack by using dials.
Sanji, Frankie, and Soja King detach T-Bone's coach,
separating him from the rest of the Puffing Tom. Frankie is shot at, but because he's a cyborg, the bullets don't do any harm to him. However, since he couldn't reach his backside, he couldn't make any modifications on it, which means that it's a weakness. Wanzi, CP7's expert cook, aims to halt their progress. We then see a layout of the coaches, with Nico in the first one, CP9 in the second one, Nero in the third coach, and Wanzine in the fourth coach. Lucci states that the Straw Hats will never take back Nico. Sanji aims to fight Wanzine as the other two make their way to Nero's coach. Wanzine nearly hits Sanji with Fire Skate. Wanzine then reveals his ultimate technique, Ramen Kenpo. Frankie tricks Nero and punches him in the face.
Soja King then approaches Nico's window.
Longnose-kun?
Soja King explains the situation to Nico,
but she reiterates that she's no longer a Straw Hat. Corgi enters the room, but
doesn't notice Soja King under Nico's cloak.
Sanji gets stuck in the Ramen Kenpo and gets smashed by Ramen Soul Press. Sanji counters with a pair of kitchen knives to slice up the noodles. Meanwhile, Frankie and Nero begin their battle. Nero jumps into the sea to avoid Frankie's fire breath. The Puffing Tom is now 20 minutes away from Enies Lobby. The Rocket Man comes upon the discarded train cars. Luffy then proceeds to check them out. Under Luffy's order, Zoro cuts the train cars in half. Up ahead, T-Bone runs on the bare tracks, determined to bring justice to this unjust world. Zoro defeats him easily as the Rocket Man charges on. Nero finally figures out Frankie's weakness, his backside. Frankie transforms his body into a centaur form. Sanji then cuts Wanzine and states that you need passion when you cook food. He then finishes him off by kicking him into the car with CP9. Frankie finishes off Nero with Ultimate Hammer. Lucci berates Nero for not mastering the fighting techniques. Lucci claims that only Robin's death can bring happiness to others.
Soja King has defeated Corgi, but Nico tosses Soja King down,
saying that words are meaningless to them.
Soja King throws a smoke star and grabs Nico Robin to escape.
Yokozuna stands on the tracks to stop the Rocket Man. CP9 pulls the train cars together so the Straw Hats can't escape. Sanji starts fighting Bluno. Frankie separates the cars to give the Straw Hats a chance at escaping. Bluno looks to take Robin back,
as Soja King says she should have faith in Luffy.
Bluno states that there was a buster call invoked by the Navy, with only Nico Robin surviving the incident. The Puffing Tom then has Enies Lobby within its sights. Rocket Man continues making progress as CP9 arrives at Enies Lobby. Frankie is shocked by the sights that he's seeing. Spandam says it's been 5 years since all the CP9 have been together. Luffy then spots Sanji and Soja King on their way to Enies Lobby. Only Luffy and Chopper don't recognize Soja King as Usopp. Sanji states that CP9 is blackmailing Robin. The Straw Hats will have to reach Robin and Frankie before they reach the gates of justice. Otherwise, it will be all over. Despite forming a battle plan, Luffy decides to go on his own. He starts brawling with the guards as he looks for Robin. Rocket Man will charge through the gates in 4 minutes. Luffy gets through the first gate. The rest of the Rocket Man passengers invade Enies Lobby and fight the world government. Oimo and Kashi are the front gate gatekeepers. Luffy is then surrounded by thousands of men. Kashi is taken down by Frankie and the shipwrights. Spandam is informed about the incident as Luffy is seen taking out the Marines. The Straw Hats then prepare to enter Enies Lobby. Doriki is a power leveling system, with an average guard possessing a 10. The rankings by Doriki are as follows, with Lucci receiving the highest number at 4,000. Spandam claims that someone is considered superhuman at 500. Spandam possesses 2 devil fruit, as Frankie and Nico are presented before him. Frankie proceeds to bite him in anger. Enies Enies Lobby judge, Baskerville, is enraged by Luffy's actions and sentences him to death. Baskerville orders for 100 Hoban Tai to guard the front gate. The Rocket Man propels itself off of the front gate and smashes into Oimo. Nami then uses a Thunderbolt Tempo from her climb attack, which shocks many Marines in the process. Luffy is still seen fighting as he reaches an impasse. He then notices that the rest of the crew have arrived. Polly tells Zoro that when he sees the Galila traders, to tell them that they're fired. The Galila shipwrights will stay behind as the Straw Hats and Frankies move forward. Spandam states that Iceberg became indispensable to the world government when he became a mayor and the president of the Galila shipwrights. Aokiji tipped off Spandam about Nico and gave him his access to the Buster Call. Spandam wants the ancient weapon so he can rule over any civilization. Despite Nico's agreement with CP9, Spandam plans on hunting down the Straw Hats. Luffy breaks into the front steps of the world government, a fact that surprises Bluno. Sodom and Gomorrah were saved from the stomach of a sea king. Because the Frankie family was full, they didn't eat them in the process. The Galila company continues battling at the entrance. Bluno says by invading Enies Lobby that the Straw Hats have become enemies of the world government and its affiliated 170 countries. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu rifle on Bluno. Luffy pounds him down as he states that he wants Robin back. The Marines stop Sodom, but Gamora continues charging forward. It turns out that Oimo and Kashi are from the same pirate crew as Dory and Brogy, from Elfbaf. If they guarded the gates for 100 years, they'd be able to return to Elfbaf. The judge wants to release the Just 11 jurymen. To get to the Tower of Justice, they'll need to lower the drawbridge. The Straw Hats will meet up with Luffy as the Frankies plan to lower the drawbridge. Gamora is then defeated. Oimo and Kashi rampage through the area, angered that they were lied to for the last 50 years. Kaku and Khalifa are then given the devil fruits as they proceed to eat them. Bluno turns Luffy's eyes into a revolving door and spins them around. Sanji and Zoro slice through the building as an injured Gamora passes right through. Spandam possesses the Golden Den Den Mushi, which allows him to invoke the Buster Call whenever need be. Spandam taunts Nico, thinking that the guards of Enies Lobby have already defeated the Straw Hats. A guard then informs Spandam that the pirates have reached the courtyard front plaza. Spandam is in utter disbelief about what just transpired. Baskerville tells Spandam that the worst has occurred. Zoro clears a path as the Straw Hats look for Robin. Baskerville attacks them, so Zoro decides to battle him. The fight between Luffy and Bluno intensifies. It seems to be an even match, so Luffy decides to ramp things up by activating Gear Second. Luffy uses Soru to increase his speed and land a critical blow on Bluno. Bluno hides in an air door and attacks Luffy from behind. Luffy avoids it and uses Jet Bazooka in retaliation. Luffy looks for another attack, but Bluno collapses from the exhaustion. The pirates continue making progress through the courthouse. Spandam gives the order to transport Robin and Frankie to the gates of justice. Just then, Luffy screams out for Robin. Spandam discovers that Bluno was defeated by Luffy. Spandam then orders CP9 to completely annihilate Luffy and the Straw Hats. The judge wants to release the Just 11 jurymen. To get to the Tower of Justice, they'll need to lower the drawbridge. Frankie's ass starts expanding as he says he'll self-destruct himself. Frankie then uses a coup de bout to escape with Robin. Luffy is thrilled to see Robin, but she's seething with rage. "I just wanna die!" yells Robin. CP9 then makes their grand arrival on the tower. The Frankie family struggles with the Just 11 jurymen in attempt to lower the bridge. A juryman goes after Nami and Chopper, but the floor under his feet collapses. Saji arrives with Kashi and Oimo to provide assistance. Luffy picks his nose, wondering what Nico is talking about. He plans on rescuing her, and if she wants to die, she can do so afterwards. Just then, the Straw Hats all land next to Luffy in an epic manner. "Now, leave everything to us!" Oimo and Kashi guard the gate. Based on Sajiking's instructions, Spandam threatens the Straw Hats with the prospect of invoking the Buster Call. "Do you even know what will happen if you press it?" screams Robin. We then go back to Ohara Island 20 years ago. An 8-year-old Robin is called a monster, and is even ignored by her aunt, Roji. Robin then goes to the Tree of Omniscience, as she is greeted with a celebration. Turns out that she passed her archaeologist exam. Dr. Clover marvels at the breadth of knowledge that the Tree of Omniscience possesses. Nico wants to solve the mystery of of the Void history, but studying the poneglyph is a crime. Dr. Clover prohibits her from entering the basement, upsetting Nico. As it turns out, Robin's mother, Olivia, has been captured. She then meets with a giant called Saul and tells him about her life. We then see Spondine, Spandam's father, who is angry that he was sent to the West Blue. Saul panics when he figures out he landed on O'Hara. He tells Nico that O'Hara is going to be targeted by the Marine warships. Nico Olivia then returns to the island. Olivia says everyone will be wiped out and to leave O'Hara immediately. Olivia rushes forward with a gun as the Marines make landfall. Nico, unknowingly, runs past her own mother. Vice Admiral Kuzan, later known as Aokiji, is then woken up. Dr. Clover tells Robin not to reveal the fact that she's an archaeologist. Archaeologists are to be led to a refugee ship in 1 hour. Olivia holds Spondine at gunpoint as he tells her that the government has been capturing individuals studying the poneglyphs. Olivia is then hit by 2 agents that are with Spondine. Spondine tosses Olivia down in front of the archaeologist, yet Robin doesn't recognize her. Dr. Clover wishes to talk to the heads of the world about his hypothesis about the 100 years of blank pages. The agents find the poneglyph in the Tree of Knowledge as Saul rushes for Nico Robin. It turns out that the world government was born after the 100 years of blank pages. Dr. Clover states that a single great country existed long ago, but it's suspected that they were defeated by the world government and its affiliated countries. Dr. Clover wants to reveal the name of the country, but is shot before that happens. Spondine then summons the Buster Call. Nico wonders if Olivia is her mother, but Olivia denies this. Robin states that she can read the poneglyphs as the Marines start attacking the island. As flames surround them, Olivia embraces her daughter. Olivia tells Saul to take Robin away as she stays behind. It turns out Saul was previously a vice admiral, and he helped Olivia escape from the Marines. After getting hit by an explosive, Saul retaliates by lifting up a Marine ship. Saul continues fighting as Nico watches the Tree of Knowledge burn down. Kuzan then attacks Saul with Ice Block Partition. Just then, the evacuation ship explodes. Saul urges Robin to run away as he's frozen by Kuzan's Devil Fruit power. Kuzan decides to spare Robin by giving her an escape route. However, he makes it clear that he's not her friend. Robin henceforth leaves, reflecting on what just happened. The Marines place a 79 million berry bounty on Robin. We then see Robin's tumultuous adolescence, with her running from town to town to avoid getting caught. It eventually ends up with her meeting Crocodile. Because the world government is her enemy, she was afraid that the Straw Hats would betray her like so many did before. Luffy orders Soja King to shoot the world government flag, to which he obliges. "Robin, I haven't heard from you yet. Say you want to live." "I want to live," replies Robin with tears in her eyes. "Here we go," says Luffy. The drawbridge begins to open, but Baskerville orders the Marines to destroy it. Frankie reveals that he had the blueprints for Pluton at this entire time, as he decides to burn them. Frankie then begins crying when he sees his comrades. Rocket Man then bursts in with Kokoro at the helm. Spandam orders CP9 to eliminate the Straw Hats, as him and Lucci take Nico to the gates of justice. Fukuro tells the Straw Hats that each CP9 member carries a key, one of which can unlock Robin's Sea Stone handcuffs. Luffy makes his way towards Robin, as the Straw Hats each confront a member of the CP9. Kaku pulls out his own swords as he engages Zoro. After a bit of back and forth, Kaku wants to show Zoro his new ability. Soja King enters Jabra's room as he attempts to quietly grab the key. Jabra attacks him as he turns into a wolf. Kaku turns into a giraffe as him and Zoro fall into Soja King and Jabra's room. Soja King finds some sea stone handcuffs, but accidentally locks himself and Zoro together with them. Each pair of handcuffs is associated with a number key, but Kaku and Jabra are not holding the key for their handcuffs. Zoro tells Chopper to find the key for the number 2 handcuffs. Luffy encounters giant swirls of water as he stares down at the gates of justice. Meanwhile, Nami battles with Kumadori as Frankie engages with Fukuro. Khalifa gives Sanji 3 cups of tea and has the hidden keys somewhere on her body. While distracted, she kicks him across the room. Because Khalifa is a woman, Sanji is not fighting at full power. Nami struggles with Kumadori's hair. Chopper intervenes, allowing Nami to be released. Nami stole the number 3 key as Sanji comes through the ceiling, looking like he's just been beaten. Nami decides to take on Khalifa as Chopper faces Kumadori. Chimney then shows Luffy an underground passage that leads to the gates of justice. Luffy then uses Gear 3rd to break through the giant metal doors. Though his body shrinks afterwards. Lucci didn't kill Robin because he was never instructed to do so. Elsewhere, Fukuro punches Frankie in the face. The two begin trading punches. Chopper shuts the door on Kumadori as he notices that Fukuro and Frankie are in the room. Frankie asks for cola, but Chopper accidentally gives him vegetable juice, which doesn't have the same effect on his cyborg body. After finally getting some cola, Frankie demonstrates a strong hammer punch. Frankie then transforms his shoulders so he can fire cannon shots. Fukuro uses Takai Dama on Frankie, forcing the two into the sea. Kumadori comes out of the refrigerator, having eaten a ton of food. Frankie struggles against the current. He uses Frankie Butterfly and swims to the shore, but Fukuro sends him underwater. Frankie then uses 1.0 Cola Cannon, Coup de Boo, to launch himself into the air. Frankie eventually grabs onto Fukuro, forcing the CP9 member to dry land. Just then, they both think of a way of finishing each other off. Frankie finishes off Fukuro with Coup de Vent. Kumadori wants Chopper to call him a manly lion. The two engage each other with Chopper taking severe damage. The fight between the two intensifies. Chopper eats a third rumble ball as he transforms into a terrifying monster. Frankie then obtains key number 4 from Fukuro. Nami uses Thunderbolt Tempo on Khalifa. Khalifa, however, was protected with an egg-shaped capsule that was made out of soap. Khalifa touches Nami's legs, making them shiny. Because of this, she's unable to stand up. Chopper proceeds to pound Kumadori into the ground, as Frankie witnesses Chopper's new form. After tossing Kumadori, Chopper tries to crush Frankie. Luffy smashes through a set of doors to confront Lucci. Spandam accidentally activates the Buster Call. Oimo, Kashi, the Frankie family, and the Galula Company are all being tied up by the Marines. Spandam seems unconcerned with the ramifications of the Buster Call. Nico attempts to warn the inhabitants, but Spandam slaps her across the face. Luffy engages Lucci in their second bout. The Marines and the Cyberpole agents begin evacuating Eni's lobby. Luffy makes a break for the door, but Lucci impedes his pass. The two continue fighting, with no side holding an advantage. Khalifa uses Golden Hour to turn Nami's skin silky smooth. Nami avoids Khalifa's attacks with her Mirage Tempo. Just then, Chopper smashes into the room, shocking both women. Nami attempts to stop Chopper as he goes utterly berserk. She then realizes that water eliminates the soap's ability. Khalifa manages to hit Nami with Bending Shigan Whip. Nami uses Rain Tempo to wash away the soap from her body. Nami creates another Mirage and shocks Khalifa with Thunderball. Khalifa attacks Nami with Tidal Wave. Nami uses a Cyclone Tempo to create a hole and finishes off Khalifa with Thunder Lance Tempo. Frankie uses Coup de Vent on Chopper to send him into the ocean. Nami gives the key to Zoro and Soga King so they can free themselves. Chopper finally returns to his normal self. Zoro then begins his fight with Kaku, clashing intensely. Soga King attacks Jabra, but the wolf gashes him with his claws. Soga King has been defeated, but Sanji kicks Jabra right in the face. Spandam drags Nico by the hair as Luffy stares down Lucci. Various Marines and Cyberpole agents enter the train to escape Eni's lobby. Sanji and Jabra go back and forth. Jabra tosses Sanji the key, pretending that Nico is his long-lost sister. He attacks Sanji as he goes for the key, but the Straw Hat Cook finishes him off. Well, not quite. Jabra continues fighting on by using 4 slashes that look like wolves. Sanji uses Jamba Diable to add extreme heat to his kick, sending Jabra flying. Jabra fights on, but Sanji finally finishes him off with a flaming kick. Spandam says he'll be the world's hero when he passes through the gates of justice. Frankie tells Luffy that he brought 2 keys. Zoro and Kaku continue their fight. Kaku uses a downpour of slashing to attack Zoro. Zoro uses Nagori-Zake, but Kaku counters with Began. Kaku continues transforming his body to use new attacks on Zoro. Kaku bombards Zoro with continuous sword slashes. Zoro then reveals his demon spirit, Azura, which gives him 4 extra arms, allowing him to defeat Kaku. Elsewhere, the Giants are carrying the Frankies, the Galula Company, and the others to try to escape the Buster Call. As Spandam drags Nico to get to the gates of justice, Robin begins resisting. Meanwhile, Lucci uses a barrage of punches to send Luffy back. Frankie attempts to help out, but it's to no avail. Luffy uses Gear 2 to attack Lucci with Jet Pistol. Lucci then enters his leopard form as the battle rages on. "Frankie, I'll leave Robin to you!" screams Luffy. Luffy and Lucci continue their intense battle. Spandam drags Robin across the bridge as it's revealed that Spandine was his father, the man who activated the Buster Call on Ohara. Spandam then bursts into flames as it's revealed that Soga King is standing on the Judicial Tower. Robin uses this opportunity to run away as Frankie covers her from the enemy fire. The Straw Hats have now collected all the keys. Frankie frees Robin as Spandam is flabbergasted. Robin uses this opportunity to exact revenge on Spandam. Bombardment from the warships begin. The warships explode the tower, so Usopp has to jump off before falling to his death. We then go back to the battle between Luffy and Lucci. Lucci states that the real bombardment will begin soon, and anyone in the underground tunnel will drown. We then see the fleet of warships with 5 vice admirals. Most of the Straw Hats are in the underground passage, attempting to escape Enies Lobby. Luffy trusts that his Nakama will survive this ordeal, as he keeps his eyes on Lucci. The battle continues, with Lucci gaining the early advantage. Luffy activates Gear 3, as his arm becomes the arm of a giant. "Gomu Gomu Giant Pistol!" yells Luffy. A part of Lucci's history is revealed when he took down 500 soldiers of a pirate's hideout. The Straw Hats then realize that they're trapped in the tunnel. Lucci almost loses his consciousness, but manages to land on one of the warships. Luffy comes flying in and uses Giant Axe. Lucci bites back, but Luffy counters with Giant Whip. One of the Vice Admirals orders an attack on the warship in an attempt to eliminate Luffy. Luffy shrinks from the after effects of Gear 3. Spandam taunts Frankie, so the cyborg punches him in the face. Spandam uses Funk Freed, but Frankie throws him back. The damage from earlier affects Lucci, as Luffy's body resumes its normal form. Water submerges the Straw Hats, but luckily they're saved by Kokoro the mermaid. Frankie commandeers a ship as Kokoro arrives. The Marines make their escape as the Frankies and the Galila Company are left on Enies Lobby. Kokoro says they'll learn more about mermaids when they reach the Fishman Island in the future. Zoro says when the bombarding is done, the Marines will likely come for Robin. The Frankies and the Galila Company are then caught in the blast. Luffy is at his limit, but he still activates Gear 2. A report comes out that the number of survivors on Enies Lobby is 0, shocking Frankie. Luffy uses Jet Bullet on Lucci. The Leopard counters with Rokuo Gun. The Marines spot Luffy on the Bridge of Hesitation and prepare a battle formation around it. Half of the bridge is destroyed. Luffy notices the Straw Hats cheering him on in the distance. The Marines then surround the Straw Hats, looking to retrieve Nico Robin. They fight the Marines as Luffy continues struggling against Lucci. Lucci uses Rokuo Gun, knocking the Straw Hat captain down. "Luffy!" screams Usopp. "Usopp? You're here!" Usopp motivates Luffy to stand up, as the captain isn't ready to give up yet. Lucci uses another Rokuo Gun, but Luffy remains standing. Luffy remembers all his encounters with Robin, as he uses Jet Gatling on Lucci. After defeating Lucci, Luffy says, "We're going back together, Robin!" It turns out that the Galila Company and the Frankies are all safe, thanks to some rope. Usopp urges Luffy to escape, but his body won't move at the moment. The Marines blast the Straw Hats' escape ship. They all get trapped on the prop, surrounded by 5 Marine ships. Usopp tells everyone to jump into the ocean, as they have one more Nakama. Everyone falls down as the Going Merry appears in the water below. "Everyone, thank you," says Robin. Spandam urges the Marines to blow them up. It turns out that Sanji closed the gates of justice, causing whirlpools that override the Marines' steering. As a final parting gift, Nico breaks Spandam's spine. The Going Merry escapes, as the others boarded the Puffing Tom to leave Enies Lobby. Aokiji watches the events from his bicycle, realizing that the Marines have been defeated. Iceberg arrives on the Galila Company ship. A flashback reveals that Iceberg fixed up the Going Merry so that it could sail one last time. The Straw Hats give the Going Merry its final send-off as they set it on fire. It begins snowing as each of the members has a flashback about their adventures on the boat. "Thank you for taking good care of me until now. Farewell, Mary." Oimo and Kashi repair the destroyed parts of Water 7. They eventually go back to Elfboff. Frankie tells Iceberg he burnt the Pluton blueprints. It turns out that Iceberg wants to make Water 7 float on the sea. The Straw Hats receive all their possessions back. Frankie wants to build a ship with the wood from the treasure tree Adam. After building this dream ship, he'll give it to the Straw Hats. Goldie Roger's ship was also made with parts from the same tree. The legendary Vice Admiral Garp arrives and smacks Luffy awake. "I heard you've been doing reckless things, Luffy!" Grandpa? Nami states that Garp is the hero of the Marines. Garp trained Luffy to be a Marine and berates Shanks for influencing him to be a pirate. Garp says that there are 4 emperors and they rule over the second half of the Grand Line. Shanks and Whitebeard are both members. Kobe then reintroduces himself to Luffy and Zoro. We also see Helmeppo again. Garp then reveals that Luffy's dad is Monkey D. Dragon, the Revolutionary. The government has labeled him as the worst criminal in the world. Garp then takes his leave. Kobe tells Luffy about Dr. Vegapunk and how he found a way to cross the Calm Belt with a mineral called Sea Stone. He also knows how devil fruits transmit their powers, and even found a way to transfer those powers to objects. The latter half of the Grand Line is called the New World. Kobe wants to meet there and become a Marine Admiral in the process. Afterwards, everyone partakes in a great feast. Aokiji checks in with Robin and admits he was good friends with Saul. Elsewhere, the 5 elders are told that Shanks and Whitebeard have made contact. Jaz and Marco of the Whitebeard pirates are introduced. Shanks confronts Whitebeard and hands him some booze. It turns out that Shanks and Buggy used to be apprentices on Goldie Roger's ship. Shanks received a wound on his eye from Blackbeard. He begs Whitebeard to stop Ace from confronting Blackbeard. The two clash, opening up the skies in the process. Elsewhere, Ace is caught up with Blackbeard. The Straw Hats will head to Fishman Island next, and will cross the Florian Triangle. However, ships tend to vanish in the Florian Triangle. The Straw Hats all receive new bounties, along with Frankie. Zanbai asks Luffy to take Frankie with him. The Straw Hats then receive their new ship, the King of Beast. Frankie has his pants stolen by the Frankies. Through some shenanigans, it ends up in Luffy's hands. If you want these back, then be our Nakama. Robin grabs onto Frankie's nuts. Lucky bastard. Iceberg tells Frankie to forgive himself and live his own dream. After thinking of all the good memories with the Frankies, Frankie decides to join the Straw Hats. Garp then asks for Luffy and his crew to drown and die. Truly some grandfatherly-like advice. Usopp then makes a mad dash for the ship. Garp starts chucking cannonballs as Usopp apologizes for leaving the Straw Hats. Idiot! Hurry up and grab my hand! The Straw Hats escape Garp. They officially name the ship the Thousand Sunny. Garp then decides to toss an enormous cannonball as Frankie uses Ku to burst to blast off into the air. Having heard what happened in Eni's lobby, Smoker wants to crush the Straw Hats. News spreads to Alabasta as Vivi is confident that Luffy will become the Pirate King. Zephyr the Barati sees Sanji's new bounty. Makino of Fuchsia Village says that Luffy has found some good friends. Kaya of Syrup Village immediately recognizes Soja King as Usopp. Zoro-sensei, Koshiro, is happy that his former pupil is becoming a true swordsman. Nojiko comments that the Straw Hats have kept their promise of keeping Nami happy. Dr. Karira is happy to see Chopper's face on a wanted poster. Dragon looks forward to seeing his son again in the future. Ace and Blackbeard start battling, with the latter claiming that he is darkness. Blackbeard claims that the Yami Yami no Mi Devil Fruit is the most powerful, making him a man of darkness. He elaborates that his power is gravitation. Blackbeard pulls in Ace and punches him in the gut. Blackbeard's ability sucks in opponents' Devil Fruit power while touching them, meaning that they lose their powers in that moment. After a back and forth, Ace forms a giant flaming orb. It turns out that this event served as a trigger for a big incident in the coming future. The Straw Hats enter the Florian Triangle and encounter a ghost ship. A gentleman skeleton named Brook introduces himself. "Perhaps you'd be so kind as to show me your panties," says Brook to Nami. Luffy then says, "Before that, become my Nakama." "Yes, very well then," replies Brook. It turns out that Brook died several decades ago, but he ate a devil fruit that revived him upon his death. After his death, his spirit wandered for a year before finding his body. Unfortunately, when he got back to his body, it was just bones and an afro. Brook's shadow was taken, meaning he couldn't exist in the world of light. Otherwise, he'd burn. The crew then encounters a wandering island known as Thriller Bark. Brook runs on the water due to his light frame as a skeleton. Upon seeing this, Luffy smiles with glee. Robin explains that they're locked within the gates of Thriller Bark. Nami, Usopp, and Chopper get pulled into the island on the Mini Mary. An invisible creature attacks the rest of the crew. A Cerberus then starts chasing the Nami crew on the island. A mysterious man then offers to take them to Dr. Hogback's mansion. Chopper acknowledges Dr. Hogback as a prestigious doctor. The Nami team is then abandoned in the graveyard by Hilden. Zombies begin attacking them as they defend themselves. The zombies run out of strength as the Nami team arrive at Hogback's mansion. Dr. Hogback introduces himself to the crew. It turns out that he studies zombies and the matters of life and death. However, he doesn't want them in his lab, which I'm sure they'll adhere to, because I'm sure there's nothing bad going on in there. I mean, who would ever think that? Nami is then attacked by an invisible man in the shower. Usopp and Chopper try to capture him, but he escapes. Luffy and the others enter Thriller Bark themselves. Luffy takes down Cerberus. Hogback talks to the ghost about the bounties on the pirates' heads. After defending themselves, Usopp's group lands in a secret passage that leads them to Hogback's secret room. As it turns out, Sindri, the servant that they met at the entrance, died 10 years ago. Luffy's crew defeats some zombies with 600 million berry jackpot. It turns out that Gekko Moria stole Brook's shadow, and he's one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Luffy then offers to find the man who stole everyone's shadows. Usopp's group sees the method in which Hogback produces zombies. It turns out that the village exists within Thriller Bark, and Thriller Bark is the largest pirate ship in the world. We then meet Absalom and Pirona as Luffy's group reaches the mansion. Hogback uses Ryuma to take down Usopp's group. Luffy's group takes down some zombies as they begin their search for the others. Absalom then summons the general zombies to attack the Straw Hats. Nami's group escapes the coffins they're in. The 3 are then attacked within Pirona's Wonder Garden. A penguin zombie then saves Nami's life. Inside the mansion, Luffy notices that Zoro disappeared, just like Sanji. The 3 are attacked by general zombies. Luffy is then captured in a coffin and taken away as Frankie and Robin encounter a spider monkey. Lola has a crush on Absalom, and because Absalom likes Nami, she goes after her. Nami's group then escapes Absalom's clutches as they run away. Frankie destroys the bridge with the spider monkey as Nico demonstrates her ability to fly for 5 seconds. Brook then falls from the sky. Nami befriends Lola, thus ending the zombies' attack. Pirona then raids the Straw Hat ship, as she's called by Moria. Frankie and Nico struggle with the spider monkey, as the former gets caught in its web. Brook then finishes off the creature with a single slash. The skeleton explains how Gekko Moria extracts shadows and uses it to create zombies. At the mansion, Pirona, Absalom, and Hogback meet up with Moria. Moria extracts Luffy's shadow and says he'll create the strongest special zombie in history. Brook states that if the body dies, then the shadow dies as well. He then says that the zombies are weak against salt. Absalom wants to become the Graveyard King, as Pirona wants all the world's cutest things to become zombies. Moria reveals that he was defeated by Kaido in the New World. Brook confronts Ryuma, the zombie samurai that possesses his shadow. Moria then reveals number 900, a giant called Oars. Moria inserts Luffy's shadow into Oars, waking the monstrous giant. Meat! I am hungry! Nami's group runs away as Absalom burns Usopp and Chopper. Absalom and Nami disappear as Usopp and Chopper battle the zombies. Robin and Frankie then come in to help them out. Oars initiates his rampage. Turns out he lived 500 years ago and was a great villain. He then uses Gomu Gomu no pistol and says he'll become the Pirate King. Brook fought Ryuma 5 years ago for his shadow, but he was defeated. I've become stronger, says Brook in the now. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji finally wake up. Sanji then becomes enraged when he finds out that Nami is to be wed. Brook tells Frankie that he promised to return to an old friend that has been waiting for him for 50 years for now, Laboon the whale. Frankie tells the others as Luffy instantly remembers Laboon. Meanwhile, Brook struggles in his battle with Ryuma. Everyone agrees to let Brook join the crew. Luffy says that if they beat Gekko Moria, they'll all get their shadows back. Oars begins looking out at Thriller Bark. Luffy's group makes their way to Moria's dance hall as Zoro and Frankie go towards Pirona's room. Oars comes crashing down onto the bridge, shocking everyone. Luffy, Nico, and Chopper confront Hogback in the mansion, with the reindeer expressing his disappointment in the doctor. Luffy then finds Moria slacking off. Frankie creates a new bridge so him, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp can confront Pirona in the mansion. She uses her ghost to hollow out their spirits, but it doesn't work on Usopp. My name is Captain Usopp. I'm already negative. Elsewhere, Absalom prepares to kiss Nami, whom is still unconscious. Brook loses in his duel with Ryuma. Zoro wants Shusui, Ryuma's sword, so he battles the zombie to gain it, and Brook's shadow. Oars then defeats all the general zombies by using Gatling gun. Sanji then bursts into the cathedral to interrupt the faux wedding. Luffy's battle with Gekko Moria begins. Well, actually it's against Gekko's shadow, Doppelman. Once Oars forgets all his memories of being Luffy, he'll become obedient to Moria. Luffy kicks the ground underneath Moria to great effectiveness. Sanji rescues Nami and starts fighting Absalom. Sanji uses Usopp's special salt balls to prevent Absalom from going invisible. It turns out that Sanji wanted to eat the fruit that Absalom ate, so he could sneak into women's baths. Absalom's body was modified by Dr. Hogback. Sanji proceeds to defeat Absalom with a series of kicks. In Usopp's battle, Pirona demonstrates her ability to fly. Usopp then explains all the facets of his new weapon, Kabuto. Pirona puts her hands into Usopp's body, demonstrating that his attacks can't hit her. Usopp uses flames from his Kabuto, but it's ineffective. Pirona uses Ghost Wrap to have the hollows explode on Usopp. Soja King then returns to give Usopp some much needed encouragement. Usopp then figures out her trick and locates the real body. Usopp defeats Gallant Hippo with an impact dial. He then uses a quote-unquote 10-ton mallet to defeat Pirona. Zoro and Raizuma begin their battle in epic fashion. Raizuma fires a gun to Brook and Frankie's surprise. The resulting battle causes the destruction of Dr. Hogback's lab. They continue trading blows on the roof, looking evenly matched. Zoro jumps high into the air and slashes Raizuma across the chest. As the zombie falls, his wounds burst into flames. Zoro receives Raizuma's sword as Brook gets his shadow back. Chopper doesn't consider Hogback to be a doctor anymore. In the past, Sindri denied Hogback's marriage proposal and later died. Hogback then joined up with Moria on the condition that he would revive Sindri. Chopper grabs Sindri as he yells at Hogback for mistreating these people. Hogback tells Sindri to defend him while he runs, but her body won't move. Sindri defies Hogback's orders as Chopper grabs the doctor in a suplex. Oars tells Luffy that his master is Moria. Gecko tells Oars to take care of the Straw Hat Pirates. Sindri then smiles at Chopper as Oars steps onto Hogback by accident. Luffy then chases Moria as Absalom kidnaps Nami once more. "Show yourself, Straw Hat crew," yells Oars. The battle between Oars and the Straw Hats begin. Unfortunately, the giant zombie proves to be too strong and durable for them. All the Straw Hats, except for Luffy and Nami, lie on the ground defeated. Lola interferes with Absalom before he places a kiss on Nami. Absalom proceeds to knock Lola unconscious. Angered, Nami defeats Absalom with one shot with her Thunder Charge. The Straw Hats then stand up, ready for round 2 against Oars. They assemble in the Pirates Docking 6. Giant Robot Warrior, Big Emperor. As a person, I'm embarrassed, says Nico. Through their collective efforts, they knock down Oars. Pirona starts gathering treasure and supplies so she can flee the area. Bartholomew Kuma then says, "I'm here to see Moria. Is he here?" The Straw Hats take pleasure in the fact that Oars is stuck. Oars gets up, and Sanji and Zoro decide that they can't wait on Luffy in defeating Moria, so they'll have to defeat Oars first. Nami looks to stop Pirona as Kuma walks in. Pirona then reveals that Kuma is a warlord of the sea. Pirona uses her negative ghost on him, but Kuma makes her disappear. Kuma verifies with Nami that Ace is Luffy's brother. Elsewhere, Luffy thinks he caught Moria, but it was just his shadow. Moria's shadow then leaves Luffy alone in the forest. Zoro says they need to restore Luffy's shadow before dawn, otherwise he won't be able to fight. Kuma then informs Moria that Blackbeard will replace Crocodile as a warlord. After the events of Eni's Lobby, the world government is closely watching the Straw Hats. As it turns out, the world government fears that another warlord could fall to the Straw Hats. Moria goes inside of a compartment inside of Oars' stomach as he prepares for battle with the Straw Hats. Brook then brings a huge bag of salt for their battle. The Straw Hats proceed to battle with Oars, who's being controlled by Moria. Nami returns by using Thunderbolt Tempo on the giant zombie. The Risky Brothers then tell Luffy that they know the secret to Moria's power, and offer to give him an incredible power. Brook goes straight through Oars' shoulder in an epic fashion. Robin then uses her hands to restrain Moria. Rolling Captain Pirate Lola then explains to Luffy that if he absorbs shadows, his power can become many times higher. Just then, Luffy is then infused with 100 shadows to become Nightmare Luffy. Robin attacks Moria as his shadow approaches her. Moria then switches places with his Doppelman, something he can do at any time. Moria then steals Robin's shadow. Chopper states that Oars froze to death 500 years ago, noting that his right arm is brittle. Oars then defeats Chopper and Sanji with Gatling gun. Zoro is also defeated by Oars, leaving only Nami and Usopp. Usopp tosses salt at Oars' mouth, but Doppelman removes it. Oars starts stampeding wildly to eliminate them until Nightmare Luffy arrives. Luffy stops Oars' punch and says that there is only one Luffy before knocking him back. Lola and the Rolling Pirates help out the fallen Straw Hats. Nightmare Luffy proceeds to pummel and cut up Oars. "Gomu Gomu Storm!" yells Luffy. After defeating Oars and Moria, the shadows start expelling from Luffy's body. Despite the massive damage, however, Oars stands back up. Nami uses a rain cloud to soak Oars, as Frankie and Usopp freeze the monster's legs. Sanji and Chopper ensnare him in a chain of the rudder. Brooks chucks Luffy as the rubber man activates Gear 3. Zoro slashes Oars on the stomach as Luffy uses giant bazooka on the zombie giant. And with this, Oars is officially defeated. But Moria walks up and demands everyone's shadows. He uses Shadow's Asgard to absorb all the shadows on Thriller Bark. While Luffy had 100 shadows as Nightmare Luffy, Morio currently has 1,000 shadows. Luffy then says he's gonna go a bit wild right now. If it's a nightmare you want, I'll show you one, Moria. Luffy activates Gear 2nd. He uses Gomu Gomu no Rocket to force Moria in ejecting shadows. Moria tries to crush him, but Luffy says no one can defeat him since he's a rubber man. Luffy then punches a hole through his body with Giant Jet Shell. Luffy calls his shadow back as he performs the finishing blow. Go see for yourself what a real nightmare is in the new world, remarks Moria. Everyone's shadows return just as the sun rises. Because Moria is gone, the illusion surrounding Thriller Bark is now lifted. Lola and the Rolling Pirates express their gratitude to the Straw Hats. Kuma is seen on a building talking on a Den Den Mushi with an unknown person. The person says that they cannot have any witnesses of Moria's defeat. Pirate Hunter Zoro, let's start with you. Zoro attacks, but Kuma repels it with his hands. His devil fruit power allows him to repel anything, even the air itself. Sanji looks to help, but his kick does nothing to Kuma. Kuma then compresses air to a state that it could cause a large explosion. He then offers to spare everyone in exchange for Luffy's life. They say no, so Kuma uses Yursa's shock to cause a big explosion. Despite the devastation, Zoro proceeds to cut Kuma's arm, revealing that he's a cyborg. Kuma was created by Dr. Vegapunk into a pacifista. Zoro offers to exchange his life for Luffy's life. Sanji then offers himself for Zoro and Luffy, but he is knocked out by the swordsman. Kuma takes all of Luffy's pain and fatigue and gives it to Zoro. Sometime later, as everyone is celebrating, Zoro is shown to be a bloody mess. Hogback and Absalom escape Thriller Bark with an unconscious Moria. A newspaper article states that Ace is imprisoned in Impel Down. The Risky Brothers tell Sanji what happened to Zoro. Brook plays some music as Luffy tells him that they met Laboon. Brook cries tears of joy, knowing that Laboon is doing well. We see a flashback of Brook playing a song to cheer up his crew. We then go back 50 years, when the Rumbar Pirates first met Laboon. As it turns out, Laboon followed them to the Grand Line, so they left him with Crocus. Captain Yorkie eventually contracted a virus with no known treatment. Yorkie told Brook to send him off with his favorite song as he sailed through the calm belt. The final days of the Rumbar Pirates is shown as they record their song on a tone dial for Laboon. The Binksake song is played 3 times, during Brooks' death, his time in the Florian Triangle, and in the present. Brook promises he'll see Laboon again one day, but for right now, he wants to live out his dreams of being a pirate again. Brook puts the tone dial in his head and officially joins the Straw Hats. Elsewhere, Laboon is shown to be in a good mood. A gravesite is then made for the Rumbar Pirates. Zoro then says his goodbye to his dead katana, Yobashiri. Lola then gives her mother's Vivre card to Nami. As it turns out, the paper cannot be destroyed and will always point to the other pieces, no matter how far they are apart. Luffy then pulls out a Vivre paper that he received from Ace. Lola says that the paper reflects the vitality/life force of a person, so the fact that Luffy's paper is burnt means that Ace is in trouble. And with that, guys, that officially ends the first 5 sagas of One Piece. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.